Hello, everybody. Time to review some Witchwood cards. Without further ado, I've been away for the past week, so I've been able to see the cards that have been revealed, but haven't had much chance to kind of talk about them or even like think about them that much. But I'm really excited about the new expansion and really just can't wait to get stuck in. Like, whenever we get new cards, I just want to go ham, just want to like try stuff out, play loads of wacky decks, see what works, see what doesn't work. But yeah. We're going to start with some Druid, and first card, we have Witchwood Apple, 2-mana Druid spell, add 3, it's a common, add 3 2/2 treants to your hand. Initially, this card looks really bad, because the 2/2 treants are going to be 2 mana, and so, essentially, you're playing 8 mana to summon 3 2/2s, which is really, really bad. However, there are some more kind of hand druid style cards that have been revealed in this expansion, which make this card a little bit better. Like, if you can kind of spend 2 mana doing essentially nothing, but to make your next play really strong, it could be worth it. For example, let's find the... where is it? Whispering Woods. So if you play like the 2-mana apple thing on turn 2 and put all these things in your hand, and then you can coin Whispering Woods the turn after and get a load of 1/1s, that could actually be really good. So like, instead of having to play, say, 7 mana, like Whispers of the Old Gods to flood the board, you can just play Whispering Woods for 4 mana. So it's probably just bad. Wherever it's gone. Where's it gone? Witchwood Apple. It's probably just not that great, but I think trying some kind of hand druid is going to be interesting. Like, token druid has been not that powerful recently, but token druid has some really good cards. Like, you got Power of the Wild and Mark of the Lotus, which are really strong. You have Branching Paths now, which is another way of buffing dudes. We've got Savage Roar. You could even play like Soul of the Forest. Violet Teacher with this type of thing could be interesting. So I'm definitely going to be trying lots of ways of building token druid and seeing if we can kind of come up with some kind of token druid that could work. It's bad because board clears exist. I mean, you say that, but Dude Paladin is a fairly popular deck at the moment on ladder and in tournaments. And all that does is flood the board up over and over again. And against control decks, eventually they'll have a turn where they don't have an AoE, and then that's the turn where you just kill them. And with Druid, you can completely do that because of Savage Roar. You just flood the board up, flood the board up, flood the board up. The one turn they don't deal with it, bam, Savage Roar, dead. And that is... Mark of the Lotus rotates. Oh, shit. That sucks. Wait, does it? Mark of the Lotus? What expansion was Mark of the Lotus from? Was that from Gadgetstan? Oh man, I'm going to miss Mark of the Lotus if it rotates. Woo, Jackie is back and feels like a serious player now. I believe in you, Jackie. Keep going. You might become pro Kappa. Dup! Rip. You have a point, but it doesn't seem as strong as Dude Pally. Yeah, it might not be as strong as Dude Pally. I mean, another option to this is you can play things like you can play like Sea Giant, you can play Mountain Giant. Maybe some kind of Hand Giant type thing could be a thing. Okay, on to the next one. Bewitched Guardian, 5 mana, 4/1 taunt, battle cry, gain +1 health for each card in your hand. So, this does have synergy with the last card, because you ideally want lots of cards in your hand to get value out of this. Like, a 5 mana, if you have, say, 5 cards in your hand, you get a 5 mana 4/6, which is essentially like a Druid of the Claw, which is a good card, but Druid of the Claw is kind of... has the flexibility of you also being able to charge with it. So really you're going to be wanting to have more than 5 cards in your hand if you're playing Bewitched Guardian. Like, really you're going to be having like 6+ cards in your hand at any one time if you're playing this. I mean, it has massive potential. Like, if you have 10 cards in your hand, you can get a 4/11 taunt for 5 mana, which is insane. But yeah, I think it's going to be really hard to actually get this to be big. Okay. Druid of the Scythe. 3 mana 2/2. Choose one, transform it into a 4/2 with Rush or a 2/4 with Taunt. This actually reminds me a little bit of Feral Rage. Like, Feral Rage is obviously like gain 8 armor or do 4 attack. But it feels to me slightly worse than Feral Rage, because the 4/2 can't go face. And a 2/4 Taunt is obviously going to be saving you less health than 8 armor. However, the 2/4 Taunt will actually trade into minions and kill stuff off, so I'm not overly... This is one of the cards I'm not that excited about. Like a 3 mana 2/4 Taunt just isn't very good. The 4/2 with Rush isn't bad, though. Like, the 4/2 with Rush isn't bad. And then the main thing about this type of card is, like, the flexibility of it. Like, you can say most of the time use it as a 4/2 with Rush. But then, even though a 2/4 Taunt is kind of bad, there will be certain situations where a 2/4 Taunt is better than a 4/2 with Rush. So, these that kind of choose one cards are always slightly better than they look. But yeah, I don't think this card is going to be that good. Okay, Duskfall and Aviana. Reels made a 10/18 Bewitched Guardian in the release stream. Really? Jesus. I didn't actually see all the reveal stream. I saw all of the cards at the end of it, but I didn't get to watch much of the reveal stream. I saw a little bit of it. How did you make a 10/18? Jesus Christ. Okay, anyway. Duskfall and Aviana, 5 mana 3/7 on each player's turn. The first card played costs 0. So one interesting thing about this is that, say if this card survives, you can play like a 0 mana Malygos and then OTK your opponent with swipes and moonfires. So I like that this gives the potential for that type of thing. However, the fact that your opponent's first card is going to be 0 mana as well is very scary. With the other legendary that gives you a 10/10 copy. Ah, I see. Okay. Sweet. But the fact that it your opponent can take advantage of this makes it feel like this is going to be very hard to actually... It's going to be very hard to actually pull this off and make this work with anything, I think. Yeah. Feels bad, man. I mean, if there was any way of kind of getting this out really cheap, or somehow getting 2 turns in a row, oh, I don't know. It just seems way too hard to do. It's just a worse Temporous. Not as bad as Temporous, but it's close. No, I think you would actually prefer to play Temporous than this, because Temporous, all you need to survive, and then you can guarantee you get your 2 turns in a row to get your OTK. Whereas this, it's like... I mean, how likely is it to survive? I think it might be more likely to survive than you'd expect. Like, the fact that their first card costs 0 is obviously a big deal, but if you're against an aggressive deck that doesn't have that many kind of removal spells and has more minions, then it might just give them a big turn to summon lots of minions, rather than a big turn to remove stuff. So, if they can't kill it... realistically, I just can't see it. I just can't see it happening. I really would like some kind of Malygos Druid to be a thing, though. I've always been a fan of Malygos Druid. And another thing about it is that if it doesn't die, like say you're playing a lot of expensive cards in your deck, like you'd be playing things like Ultimate Infestation, you play this card, and if your opponent can't kill it, then you can have a massive turn, basically. So even though you're giving your opponent the ability to play their first card for 0 mana, they absolutely have to kill Duskfall and Aviana, or you're going to be really punishing them. So I don't think it's quite as bad as it looks, but it's just like the problem with it is just it's not consistent. Like sometimes it's going to die, sometimes it's going to survive. And the turns it dies, it's just you're just giving your opponent an advantage because you're letting them have a bigger turn than usual. And then you don't even get any benefit. So, yeah, I don't like that. Mortal Phoenix just subscribed. Thank you very much, Mortal Phoenix. Welcome to the Jackos, man. Okay. Ferocious Howl. 3 mana, draw a card, gain 1 armor for each card in your hand. So say you have about 5 cards in your hand, gain 5 armor, draw a card. It's basically like a shield block. But it could just be... It could give you no armor, it could give you a ton of armor. I do quite like this card, but it's nothing amazing. This card was revealed by a dog, and it's a dog with its shirt off. It is a dog with its shirt off, that is correct. The irony. But, I mean, this card's pretty... There's nothing too insane about this card, it's pretty... explanatory. Like, if you're playing some kind of hand druid deck that's kind of slower, this card could be pretty good. It is basically just shield block. Which is a good card. So I think it definitely could see some play. Forest Guide. 4 mana 1/6. At the end of your turn, both players draw a card. I mean, a 4 mana 1/6 is obviously one of the worst stat lines we've seen. It is pretty terrible. Like, for you to want to play this, you're going to have to be getting a lot more value out of drawing a card than your opponent gets. If you're playing a Druid deck that also plays Naturalize, I feel like this may be able to slot in. Because then you drawing a card is beneficial to you, and your opponent drawing a card is like really bad for them because you can like mill them a card. So Forest Guide combined with Naturalize is probably the most likely way I could ever see this card seeing play. I've always been a big fan of Mildred. I mean, with Cold Light Oracle rotating out, it's going to be harder for Mildred to be a thing. But you would play Forest Guide in Mildred for sure, right? So I will definitely try I will try to make some kind of Mildred work with this, definitely. Maybe with Astral Tigers as well, some kind of Astral Tiger, Forest Guide, Mildred. Silvertoad just subscribed. Thank you very much, Silvertoad. Welcome to the Jackoffs. Once you revealed all the cards, will you do a rap about your favorite card? I mean, I'll have to take a little while to write it, but maybe. Okay, anyway. Gloomstag. 5 mana 2/6 Taunt Beast Battlecry. If your deck has only odd cost cards, gain +2/+2. So, for you to want to play an only odd... I mean, playing an only odd cost Druid deck might not be as bad as it sounds, because the Druid hero power is actually really powerful when upgraded. Like, gain 2 armor and do 2 attack is actually a really powerful effect. However, I think you would still probably... I mean, the Druid Death Knight is just good, so... And the fact that you're only playing odd cards means you can't play like Wild Growth or Swipe or Wrath or Spreading Plague or Ultimate Infestation, so... So if you were playing an only odd cost card deck, I feel like it would probably have to be kind of a more aggressive deck, but I can't see that. I can't see this card being that great. I mean, a 5 mana 4/8 Taunt is great. Like, that's really good. Let's not get that wrong, but you can already have a 5 mana 4/6 Taunt in the form of Druid of the Claw, which also has the option to have charge, and you can play even cards in your deck. Do you think the Druid Death Knight fits in Hand Druid? I mean, it depends how slow Hand Druid's going to be. If Hand Druid's a pretty slow deck, then yeah, definitely. If it's more of an aggressive deck, then maybe not. But probably yes. I think you probably would be playing it, in it. Okay. Splintergraft. 8 mana 8/8 Battlecry. Choose a friendly minion. Add a 10/10 copy to your hand that costs 10. So for this to actually work, you actually have to have a minion on the board. I'm not sure what kind of minions you're actually going to be looking to get from this. Like, obviously you want something with some kind of an effect. You don't really want like just a basic minion that's just going to literally just going to be a 10 mana 10/10. You can get really, really good value out of this though. Like if you're playing some kind of bigger druid, It could be interesting. It's nice in Aviana Coon Druid. Gives you the option to copy Coon too. What do you want to do with that, monkey ass? Dup! You don't want just a 10-10 copy of a minion. Exactly. You need some kind of reason to be getting a 10-10. I mean, one thing we're forgetting is that Druid does have the twig. So, and I feel like the Druid weapon could be kind of interesting because it can allow you to do pretty cool things. Like, you could literally play Stone Tusk Boar and then Splinter Graft the Stone Tusk Boar, then attack with your final charge of the weapon, and then charge with the 10-10 Boar. So, there's definitely some cool things you could potentially do. I feel like this card could be interesting with the weapon. But, works well with Giants. Oh, that's a good shout, actually. It does work well with Giants, because it gets reduced. Oh, that's a great shout, actually, yeah. I didn't even think about that. Giant Druid. Could Giant Druid be a thing? Whispering Woods. Already spoke about this card a little bit. I really like this card. I think this is one of the best cards Druid's got. Being able to flood the board with a load of wisps is great for Druid with all their synergy cards. I would love to be able to coin this and then follow up with Soul of the Forest. Like, Soul of the Forest is one of my favorite Druid cards. And this card is giving you kind of another way to use that. So, I do really like this card. Upgraded Druid power was really good and underrated until Gul'dan Hero made it look bad. Yeah, but it's still good. It's still good. Okay, last card is Witching Hour. 3 mana rare spell. Summon a random friendly beast that died this game. So, you could potentially... Like, you're not going to be wanting to play this early in the game after you've played some cheap, rubbishy beasts. But later in the game, after you've played some big things, you can play things like Giant Anaconda, like Tyrantus. Wait, does Giant Anaconda rotate out, actually? What expansion was Anaconda from? Was that from Ungoro? I can't actually remember. Anyway, Druid does have some big beasts that you have access to. And so if you're getting some massive beasts back for 3 mana, you could potentially have really, really big turns with this card. Oh, it was Ungoro? Okay, we're good. Can't play Malfurion or Plague with this card. Yeah, because you could end up getting just like a 1/5 taunt back for 3 mana, which really sucks. So if you're not playing Malfurion or Plague, that suggests that this card, if you were ever going to play this card, it wouldn't be in like a really defensive Druid. It would have to be in probably more of like a mid-rangey Druid. Some kind of mid-range beast Druid. But do we really have the beasts to be able to do that right now? Probably not. 7/7 with charge. Oh yeah, you can use it with charge Devil's Law. For sure. Yeah. I can see that being a thing. You can do 30 damage from hand with Splinter by this. Requires 2 turns to finish. Twig, 1 Boar, Splinter, and 2 Faceless. Huh. That is true. That is actually pretty interesting. I don't think it will be. I don't think it'll be good enough, unfortunately, but it's definitely interesting. Okay, so that's the Druid cards. First card we have is Carrion Drake. A 5 mana 3/7 dragon, and it's a rare that has Battle Cry. If a minion died this turn, gain poisonous. It's kind of interesting that they've given Hunter a couple of dragons. I mean, I don't think it's going to be really that useful. Like, Hunter doesn't have that much use for dragons. I'm wondering if maybe eventually Dragon Hunter might even be a thing. I'm not sure. But for now, it's definitely not going to be. Battle Cry, if a minion died this turn, gain poisonous. This is a very strong card. Like, it is very easy to make a minion die this turn, especially in Hunter, which is a deck that is generally relying on being ahead on board and playing a lot of minions. So, and a 3/7 poisonous is really, really good. I mean, the main effect of it is, like, the main benefit of it is health. A 7 health poisonous minion is going to be really hard to kill, and poisonous is going to be able to kill anything. So, this card is going to be good, really good against other minions that have high health. So things like... This is really good against Void Lord. You can kill the Void Lord, and then you still have a 3/4 Carrion Drake, which the Void Walkers can't even trade into. This card's pretty cool, man. I love the if a minion died this turn clause. I hope we see more cards like this in the future for Hunter. Yeah. It's like a better Maexner. Wait, what was Maexner again? Was it a 6 mana 2/8? This is pretty similar. What type of Hunter would this see playing? I don't really know. I mean, Hunter's in a bit of a weird spot at the moment where like Spell Hunter is actually kind of the most popular Hunter deck, but Barnes Shiraj is rotating out, so Spell Hunter might see less play. I mean, you can still play Spell Hunter without Barnes Shiraj, but yeah, I don't know what kind of Hunter you're going to be playing this in. I mean, probably some kind of mid-rangey Hunter. But it's a really cool card. I do really like it. Okay, what do we have next? Dire Frenzy. 4 mana spell, give a beast +3/+3, shuffle 3 copies into your deck with +3/+3. For me, I want to say I really like this card. It's really good with tracking because you can obviously like buff a minion. Like 4 mana +3/+3 isn't that great, but you can like buff a minion. Like a Stone Tusk Boar, for example, but then you're having a 5 mana 4/4 with charge, and then you're putting some more 4/4s with charge into your deck. And then you want to kind of tracking after you've played this to thin your deck down to try and find the boars. It'll also be good with Stitch Tracker to try and do that, but the card is so slow that Lifesteal and Rush Beast with this. Yeah, the Rush Beast is another one it's pretty strong with. I just can't see where this is going to fit into, like, what Hunter deck is actually going to play this card and be, like, happy with it. Because Hunter really struggles with card draw. And so outside of tracking, where you can obviously thin your deck, how are you actually finding these other beasts? You know what I mean? My problem with this is just how hard it can often be to draw things with Hunter. Turn 6, Seeping Oozling. Turn 7, play Dead. Dire Frenzy, play Dead, Suicide Seeping. Huh. Wait, what did you use the Seeping Oozling on? What death roll? Combo. Get this on 2 boars. 2 times 12 Warden to draw 4/4/4 boars. Hit those with Emerus for 4 times 8/8 boars for 4 mana. That's kind of interesting. Okay, yeah, I can see 12 Warden. 12 Warden's a good way of doing it, but then you're only going to be you're not going to be wanting playing that many 1-drops. Also, if you're playing that type of deck, you're going to be having cards like you're going to have Stone Tusk Boar, Dire Frenzy, that type of thing stuck in your hand. And Hunter doesn't have also because Hunter doesn't have much card draw. Hunter generally has a pretty small hand size, so you're really not going to have many options, and you're probably just going to fall behind in the early game and lose. So, I'm actually not sold. Duskhaven Hunter, 3 mana 2/5 stealth. Each turn is in your hand, swap its attack and health. So it's not a beast. I'm not gonna lie, I don't really like the swapping attack and health thing. It just feels like what type of deck are you actually putting in this in? Like, yes, it's flexible for certain situations, but a 3 mana 2/5 when you could actually just have a 3 mana 2/5 beast instead, which is another Hunter card. 3 mana 5/2 stealth is decent. Like, if you're playing an aggressive Hunter deck, a 3 mana 5/2 stealth is pretty good. I would say if this was going to see play, it would probably be in the Hunter deck that only plays odd cards and is really trying to push damage. Yeah, I think that's a deck I'll definitely try it out in, like an odd Hunter, but I think that's probably it. Emerus, 10 mana 8/8 dragon, battle cry, double the attack and health of all minions in your hand. It's a big legendary dragon boy in Hunter. 10 mana 8/8 is obviously really weak stat line, so it needs to have a really good effect, which it does. The effect is very strong, but it's the same thing again with Hunter, where like you're not going to be having that many cards in your hand a lot of the time, and it's just the turn you're playing it is a very slow turn that it just doesn't feel like for this to be good, there's going to have to be some kind of really slow meta where like a slow hunter would be good. And I don't think that's going to be the case. Handmaster Shaw, 4-3/6. Your other minions have Rush. For me, this is one of my favorite cards from the expansion. I think Handmaster Shaw is really, really cool. It's amazing with poisonous minions. It could be really good in like a Quest Hunter with all your 1-drops having charge. This card, and it's got a good stat line as well. 4-3/6 is decent. So for me, this is just a fantastic card that is if there are any good Hunter decks, outside of Spell Hunter, this would probably be in it. This card is just a really good card. It's the kind of card I like to see. It's just one where like it's a class that is kind of generally slightly weaker right now. Like Hunter isn't just one of the strongest classes right now. Hunter's kind of middle of the pack, and this could definitely help push Hunter up there. Hunter said it was also one of the top cards in Witchwood. Yeah, I definitely think this is one of the best cards for the expansion, for sure. What does the Rush mechanic imply? Charging the face directly. Rush basically means that a minion can attack other minions on the first turn it's played, but it can't go face on the first turn it's played. Okay. Hunting Mastiff. 2-mana, 2/1, Echo, and Rush, and it's a beast. So, this can attack minions on the turn it's played. It's also a beast. Also, Echo means you can play it over and over again. So you can do Hunting Mastiff, then another one. You can essentially do 5 on one turn to do 10 damage to their minions. I think this card is really good, actually. Because of how flexible it is. If you're playing a slower Hunter deck, like you can use this early on against aggressive decks, or against later decks, you can basically play this one card that is normally 2 mana and basically do 10 damage. I mean, it'll be 10 damage to their minions with your 2 mana, but also you can use Hunting Mastiff with other Beast Synergy cards like Scavenging Hyena, like Crackling Razormaw. I'm really interested to see if this will be able to fit in anything, because I don't think you're going to be playing this in like face Hunter decks, but in more mid-rangey decks, I think this could definitely see some play. +3/+3 on this is OP. Yeah, +3/+3 on this is very good, yeah. +3/+3 on this is very good. I feel it's so hard to see the +3/+3 actually getting play, though, just because it's so slow to pull off. And Hunter, because Hunter has no comeback mechanic from when they're behind, having slow cards is very risky. Rat Trap. 2-mana Hunter Secret, and it's an epic. After your opponent plays 3 cards in a turn, summon a 6/6 rat. So this could potentially be a 2-mana 6/6, which is definitely a big boy. The mechanic of after your opponent plays 3 cards in a turn, I actually have no idea how to assess this. Like, how often do people play 3 or more cards in a turn? I don't know. I have no idea. I mean, people will obviously try and play around it. Like, if they've kind of worked out that the secret isn't a couple of things, and then they've played 1 or 2 cards in a turn, they can probably work out that it could be Rat Trap, and so it's probably not that much of a hard one to play around. Anti-Echo card. Yeah, this is good against Echo, for sure. Maybe this is harder to play around than it looks. I really have no idea about this one. I don't think it's terrible, but I also don't think it's great. Because there will be games where it just never gets triggered and it's 2 mana do nothing, which is really, really bad. If they play around it, you still get value by limiting their turns. That is true. That is true. Yeah, I think it's slightly better than it looks, but not too amazing. And the fact that you get a 6/6 as well. So getting a 6/6 is a massive deal. So I think I'll definitely get to try it out in a few things, and it could see some play potentially. Okay. Toxmonger, 4-mana 2/4, epic. Whenever you play a 1-cost minion, give it poisonous. I'm going to bang 2 of these straight into Quest Hunter, and Quest Hunter is going to be one of the first decks I play when the expansion hits. So this is a card I'm really excited about. It might even make you want to play Elven Archer and Stone Tusk Boar in Quest Hunter. Because Because giving them poisonous is amazing. And one of the problems with Quest Hunter is that once you're behind, you have no comeback. Whereas Elven Archer getting a 1/1 plus destroying a minion is insane. So this card could really be insane in Quest Hunter. Like, really insane. It's obviously got a really bad stat line, but it needs to have a bad stat line. Otherwise, it'd be too good. This card is pretty nuts for me. Like, after the Hunter Legendary, I think this might be the second best Hunter card. Okay. Vileblood Skitterer. So this is a card we got revealed yesterday. 5 and a 1/3 Poisonous Rush, and it's a beast. So it's kind of like an assassinate. You can play it and just kill off one of your opponent's dudes. You could use it with things like Crackling Razormaw and give it Divine Shield, which makes it slightly better, but then it can't get through taunts. For me, this just seems... I don't know why it's 5 mana. Hunter's Mark is better than this. Yeah, I would agree with that. I don't know why you would choose to play this over Hunter's Mark. Like, Hunter's Mark is pretty good. I mean, one good thing about this is that with the... it's going to be an interesting one to get from the Builder Beast. Like, Russian Poisons type things are going to be really... Like, Builder Beast is going to be really interesting when all these new beasts are in it, that's for sure. So the 1 damage the Elven Archer does with the Battle Cry will be poisonous as well. Yeah, if so, it's kind of insane. Yeah, that's how it works. If a minion is given an attribute like poisonous or like lifesteal, that attribute is like affected on its battle cry as well. Yeah, I don't know about this card, man. It seems too slow to me. Wing Blast. 4 mana, deal 4 damage to a minion. If a minion died this turn, this costs 1. This is a powerful card. Like, 1 mana, deal 4 damage to a minion is a really good effect. It's only happening if a minion died this turn, though. So you're gonna want to be playing a... You're gonna want to be playing a minion-heavy deck so that you can make sure minions are dying off. But I think this card is really good. Would I play this in Quest Hunter? I don't know. Remember this before you comment on a card's viability. You are wrong. Everyone is always wrong. People said that Voidlord would never see play. Remember that? People said that half the cards that make Cube look good would never see play. They even said that Corridor Creeper was awful. Even after the nerf, it's still being played. I think I'm pretty good at evaluating cards, to be honest. Assassinate is a similar card that is not run in a class that already can draw. So a class that needs overtuned cards to make up for poor draw. A 5/1/3 Poisonous Rush minion won't work. Yeah, I agree with that. I think Wing Blast's pretty good, though. How's this one better than Hunter's Mark? Oh, it's not better than Hunter's Mark. Hunter's Mark is definitely better. Hunter's Mark's definitely better than the previous one. Oh, you mean this card? You mean Wing Blast? I mean, Hunter's Mark is a good card. I think it's kind of similar to Wing Blast, because the thing about Hunter's Mark is you do need to have some other thing to finish off the minion. Like, it's all good putting a minion to 1 health, but then you need to have like a 1/1 on the board or something like that. Whereas this doesn't need that. This does feel like another one of those cards where you do want to be having kind of lots of stuff in your hand to be able to use it. Because if you're using this for early tempo, you're emptying your hand pretty fast, and then you can just run out of cards pretty fast. I think Tolve Warden might start seeing more players onto card for sure. Okay, well, that's the end of Hunter. Arcane Keysmith. 4-mana 2/2 Battlecry, discover a secret, put it into the battlefield. So obviously, a 4-mana 2/2 is a really bad stat line, is very slow. But you're essentially playing 1 mana for a 2/2 because you're getting the secret. And you do get to discover the secret. It's not like a random secret. A mage does have a lot of good secrets, so you can choose the one that's good for your situation. Another cool thing is that it can allow you to get like 3 of a particular secret. Like, you might be playing 2 counterspells in your deck, and then you can Arcane Keysmith and discover another counterspell, which your opponent is probably not going to want to play around if you've already played 2 counterspells. So I feel like this is a card that could potentially make your opponent misplay and make them think, oh, I have no idea what secret it is. I think secrets are really good for the game because your opponent has to kind of play around them. And this is a really good one to have because generally a lot of mage decks, like say Secret Mage, for example, they become popular and then everyone starts playing very similar lists. So everyone knows what the secrets are. So everyone knows everyone's playing Counterspell. Everyone knows Explosive Runes are in there. There's a couple of people playing Potion of Polymorph and there's a couple of people playing Ice Block. But when you have this card, it's like, okay, he's just played Arcane Keysmith. I know the cards he probably started with in his deck, but what the hell is this secret? So this is going to be one of the hardest things for your opponent to play around, because it could be anything. It could be anything. Question is, if you have a counterspell in play, can this either discover counterspell? I would assume that if you have a secret in play, you'll not be able to discover that secret. I'd hope it's like that anyway. Because imagine if you have like Ice Block, Explosive Runes, and Mirror Entity in play, and then you Arcane Keysmith, and you discover options to counterspell Explosive Runes and Mirror Entity. There would just be a 4-1 2/2, and that'd be useless. Archmage Arugel. 2-mana 2/2 legendary minion. Whenever you draw a minion, add a copy of it to your hand. So the value you could potentially get from this is insane. Like, you can play this, and then play something like Arcane Intellect, and then just get lots more minions. And it's a 2-mana 2/2, which isn't a bad stat line. It's a 2-mana 2/2 which your opponent is going to have to kill. So this is a really sweet card. If you're going to be playing it, it's more likely to be in probably a more control-y mage deck, I would assume. But it is kind of weird that they're pushing kind of like more minion-based things for mage. Maybe some kind of elemental mage this could be played in. I actually think that this and Book of Spectres is a hand filler. Yeah, we'll actually move on to Book of Spectres, actually. Where is it? There it is. So Book of Spectres is a 2-mana mage spell. Draw 3 cards, discard any spells drawn. So 2-mana draw 3 cards is absolutely insane. But you need to have a deck that has mostly minions to get this to work. Like, you're probably going to be playing a few spells, because mage has a few, like, lots of good spells. But being able to draw 3 cards is nuts. So I feel like if this was going to see play, it would probably be in some kind of elemental mage alongside maybe like Bonfire Elemental. I think Bonfire Elementals are another really good card that Mage's got. Like a 5-mana 5/5 elemental rare. Battlecry if you played an elemental last turn, draw a card. So it's kind of like Servant of Kalamos, but it has 1 more attack, so it's slightly better in that sense. And also it's giving you a card in your deck rather than a random elemental, so it's good for... This is going to be better for tempo in more aggressive mage decks, whereas Servant of Kalamos is more about value. Like playing this and then like coining out Blazecaller next turn, that type of thing is going to be really powerful. Like, I think maybe even like an aggressive... Could you even maybe make an aggressive elemental mage? I'm not sure. Like, mage obviously has good burn with like Frostbolts and Fireballs. We don't have Firelands Portal anymore, but you could play Blazecaller instead. I think that would be pretty cool if that type of thing becomes a thing. I mean, I think it's more likely that more of a mid-rangey elemental deck becomes a thing with like polymorphs to deal with Void Lords and the Mage Death Knight and that type of thing. But yeah, I would like to see elemental mage push through, man. Okay, next we have Black Cat. 3-mana 3/3 beast, spell damage +1. Battlecry, if your deck has only odd cost cards, draw a card. So if your deck has only odd cost cards, it's very similar to a Zerdrake, which was a very powerful card. So this is a great card if your deck only has odd cost cards. Could odd mage be a thing? Odd elemental mage? I mean, you wouldn't be able to play like Fireplume Phoenix, but you could still play Firefly, Tar Creeper, Servant of Kalamos, Blazecaller. Maybe odd elemental mage. That'd be really interesting if odd elemental mage actually became a thing. But who knows? I'm going to give it a try. But another point of this is, like, what's the point in the spell damage +1? Like, if you're playing an odd-only deck, then you're not playing Frostbolt, you're not playing Fireball. Like, what's the point in having spell damage, is one thing I'm questioning here. If any odd mage had Arcane Blast. Yeah, Arcane Blast would be great, that's for sure. Yeah, so the spell damage isn't as relevant because you can't play a lot of the good cards that benefit from spell damage. Okay. Talked about these. Cinderstorm. 3 mana, deal 5 damage, randomly split among all enemies. Huh. So it could be 3 mana, deal 5 damage to your opponent's face. Comparing this to Arcane Missiles, though, Arcane Missiles is so much better value for the mana you're spending. Like, you're essentially spending 2 more mana here for 2 more missiles, which just doesn't seem good to me, right? Like, if you manage to clear the board and get the... Like, I feel like the only time this would ever maybe see play is if you're playing a deck that has a lot of burn in and you can clear a lot of the opponent's stuff. So you can do, like, Doomsayer on 2 and then do, like, Cinderstorm on turn 3 and guarantee 5 damage to their face. But I don't know, man. This card seems to just be bad, right? It seems pretty bad. Curio Collector. 5 mana 4/4. Whenever you draw a card, gain +1/+1. That's pretty interesting. So you could play this on turn 7 with the new book. And this becomes a 7/7. So essentially for 7 mana, you can get a 7/7 and draw 3 cards, which is really powerful for 7 mana. You can use it with Arcane Intellect on turn 8, but then it only becomes a 6/6. So it does seem kind of slow. Like, you're generally not going to really be wanting playing this on turn 5, unless you already have something like a Loot Hoarder or a Thalnos on board, or an Acolyte. And so you can play this and then trade off the card draw effect minion and draw. And the fact that it's infinite. Like, you have to remember that if your opponent doesn't deal with this on the turn you play it, you can just keep getting it bigger and bigger. And it's guaranteeing getting +1/+1 at the start of your turn when you draw a card. I mean, unless you're in fatigue. So I think this card is a bit better than it looks. Weapon synergy is pretty cool. Oh, with Alaneth? Oh yeah, this card could go bonkers with Alaneth, that's for sure. Bonkers. Snap Freeze. Freeze a minion, if it was already frozen, destroy it. Well, 2 mana freeze a minion isn't very good. 2 mana destroy a frozen minion is basically shatter. So this is just basically a slightly better Shatter. And Shatter's not very good, so I don't think this is very good either. Toki Time Tinker. 6 mana 5/5 legendary. Battlecry, add a random legendary minion from the past to your hand. For those of you who don't know, from the past basically means from wild. So you can get Yogs, you can get Ragnaros, you can get Sylvanas, you can get all these OP legendaries that used to be available that aren't available in standard anymore. So this is going to be a lot of fun. Like, whether this will actually see any play, I don't know what deck you're actually going to put this in. But I'm definitely going to try it out because it looks a lot of fun. It looks a lot of fun, right? Vex Crow. 4 mana 3/3 common beast. Whenever you cast a spell, summon a random 2-cost minion. I actually think this card could be really good. Like, with lots of cheap spells like Arcane Missiles, a Mirror Image, you can protect the Crow while summoning infinite 2-cost minions. If they don't kill the 3/3, you can keep creating even more. So Crow could actually be really good. Crow could be really good. But it'd have to be an aggressive mage deck. Like, you're definitely going to want to be playing like Primordial Glyph, Frostbolt, probably Arcane Missiles and Mirror Image if you can. So this is one I'm definitely going to be excited to try out. Damn, this should really be a Rogue card. This would be busted in Rogue. Oh, sorry, I just shouted into the mic, my bad. This would be busted in Rogue. Like Crow into Starve, into Prep, into Fan or shit like that while building a... This would be ridiculous in Rogue. Okay. Okay. Bellringer Sentry. 4 mana 3/4 rare. Battlecry and Death Rattle put a secret from your deck into the battlefield. So what this card is doing is actually really powerful. Like, you're getting a 3/4 body, which is worth roughly 3 mana. And then you're getting 2 secrets from your deck in at the battlefield. So it's always really nice when they're being pulled from your deck because it's thinning your deck. So this card's actually really sweet. But are you going to be wanting to play a Paladin deck with lots of secrets in? That is the question. Like, we don't have Mysterious Challenger anymore. I mean, this is kind of like a mini Mysterious Challenger, really. But you're only pulling one, and then the second one only gets pulled on the Death Rattle, which is probably going to be a little bit later on the game. Like, this card isn't, like, definitely going to die as soon as you play it. It might die, like, 1 or 2 turns later. So, it's a very good card. I feel like it's not enough to kind of make a Secret Paladin make a comeback. But I'm definitely going to give it a go. And one card you can actually make this work with is you can do Bellringer Sentry. So you could be playing a Secret Paladin type deck. And then you can play Prince Liam. 5 and a 5/5 legendary Battlecry, transform all your 1-cost cards in your deck into legendary minions. So you can have all these secrets and maybe play one Bellringer Sentry, and then afterwards bam Prince Liam and turn them into random legendaries. And is that going to be good? I have no idea. But I'm definitely going to be excited to try it. Oh, I love cards that give you random legendary minions. But really, what secrets are you going to want to be playing in your deck if you're playing this is the question. Like, Redemption's good, Noble Sacrifice is good. Do you want to play Getaway Kodo? Yeah, maybe like a one-off. But then the Getaway Kodo is probably going to just end up on the Noble Sacrifice dude. You can play the new Paladin secret potentially. Let's pull that up. The new Paladin secret is Hidden Wisdom. After your opponent plays 3 cards in a turn, draw 2 cards. So kind of similar to the Rat Hunter one. Once again, I really can't decide how powerful or how often you're going to get this to trigger the after your opponent plays 3 cards effect. It seems dodgy. Kodo got retired. Getaway Kodo rotates. Oh, okay. But you'd probably play one of this in the deck. You'd probably play one of this if you were trying to make some kind of Quest Paladin deck of thing. I didn't think. I mean, not Quest Paladin. Secret Paladin. I don't think a Secret Paladin will be that good though. Like, I don't think Bellringer Sentry is quite good enough to make a Secret Paladin a thing. But definitely gonna try it out. Next we have Cathedral Gargoyle. 2-mana 2/2 epic. Battlecry if you're holding a dragon, gain Taunt and Divine Shield. So, if you're holding a dragon, this card's insane. It's a mini-bot with Taunt. Question is, what dragon are you actually going to be holding? You could definitely play a Paladin deck with Primordial Drakes. But what expansion was Primordial Drake? Does Primordial Drake rotate out? I feel like Primordial Drake might even rotate out. In which case... Oh, Primordial Drake's Ungura. Oh, okay. Okay. So, maybe you could play this card. But what are the dragons are you actually going to be playing? It's such a weird card. There's no dragons you really want to play with this. The new Amalgam, the 3-mana 4/3. Yeah, you could play that, but do you really want to play that in a deck where this is the only reason to play a dragon? Like, in Priest right now, you're going to have, like, a few different reasons to play dragons, right? Whereas in Paladin, this card is, like, the only reason to play dragon, really. I feel like there's not many other reasons to play dragons in Paladin. Amalgam, Scaleworm, Fairy Dragon, Scalebane. Dragons help Scaleworm. Oh yeah, Scaleworm's another one. Scaleworm is another one. Alex and Ysera might be decent to add. They're borderline good stats alone. Yeah. I actually don't think this card will see play. Even though it's very powerful if you have dragons. I just can't see dragons fitting in Paladin. I don't know, man. Ghostly Charger. 5-mana 3/4 Beast, Divine Shield, and Rush. I think it's a powerful card. Like, the Divine Shield just makes it really good. You get to kill off a 3/3. It's more of a mid-rangey kind of thing. But it's removal while being a body. It doesn't give you a good tempo swing. It's a great card to play before your Spirit Steed turn as well. So you play this, trade off their minion, then they play another minion, and then you Spirit Steed your Ghostly Charger, and you're all sorted. So this is a good card. It is a card that I don't know what deck it would actually fit into, though. It is a very kind of mid-rangey type card. I mean, the whole rush mechanic is you're going to want to be playing a deck that likes trading a lot, and it's not going to be a particularly aggressive deck. It's going to be more tempo-y, mid-rangey, I feel. Okay, speaking of my Hidden Wisdom. Paragon of Light, 3-mana rare minion. While this minion has 3 or more attack, it has Taunt and Lifesteal. So initially it doesn't have more than 3 attack. But you could be playing... It's a shame that this is going in when all the hand buff things are rotating out. But with things like Blessing of Kings, this is insane. Spirited Steed, this is insane. There's a few cheap buffs for Paladin. Like, if you were playing some kind of quest Paladin, I feel like this is the type of card you'd play in. Like, you'd probably play this in some kind of slower Lanessa Paladin deck. There is Tar Creeper already. Yeah. Like, the problem with this card is I don't know what card it would actually fit into. Shouldn't you have started reviewing the neutral cards before reviewing the class cards? I mean, it doesn't really matter, right? It doesn't really matter, right? I don't think. Anyway, I don't think this card will be... If this card's going to see play, it's going to be in a different type of Paladin to what we've seen. It will be a much more buff-orientated Paladin, that's for sure. Okay, speak about Prince Liam. Rebuke. 2 mana, enemy spells cost 5 more next turn. This could be really cool for aggro Paladin. The fact that it's only 1 turn and it's not a card you can just play whenever. Like, it's not like Lotheb where you can save it to set up for 1 turn that you know you're expecting, like a Flame Strike or something. Or you can just play it whenever. Like, Rebuke, you're not just playing it whenever. Like, Rebuke, you're literally holding back and setting up for 1 turn. So, I do like it because it's like, you have to plan, okay, which turn am I going to need to be... Which turn am I going to need them to not be able to do spells? I'm not sure if you're going to be playing 2 of this in Aggro Paladin or just 1. But if Aggro Paladin is good, I can see you definitely playing 1 of this in it. Obviously, depends on the meta as well. Like, if not many people are playing spells, then this isn't going to be that good. But if lots of people are playing lots of spells, lots of reactive spells, then this could be very good. Okay. Silver Sword. Aim at a 3/4. After your hero attacks, give your minions +1/+1. A very slow weapon. A very slow weapon. But one thing about... I really actually like this for Dude Paladin, because one thing about Dude Paladin is that they don't have that many ways of, like, closing out the game. Like, you have Life Fuse Stegodon, we have Level Up, and Tarim. And that's it, really. So, I do like this as a way of kind of buffing your board. Plus, it has 4 durability, so... The problem is it's just so slow. Like, the turn you're playing this, it's really weak unless you need to already be ahead on board and kind of be trying to finish the game at this point. I do think this card is very good, actually. I do think it's very good because you need to be in an okay position to be playing this. Like, you can't play this when you're behind. But also you can, the turn after you've played it, you can spend 9 mana to play minions. So you could play, like, Stonehill Defender, for example, and then attack with Silver Sword, and then all of them get the buffs. Or you can summon a load of 1/1s, attack with Silver Sword, bam, they all got the buff, suddenly your board doesn't die to Defile. I do actually like this weapon. Whether we'll see play, I'm not sure, because Paladin has lots of other good weapons. On 8 mana, they have, like, Tyrion as well, so... Not 100% sure this will see play, but I do really like what it's trying to do. Sound the Bells. A 2-mana Echo, give a minion +1/+2. So Paladin already has a spell, give a minion +1/+2. That has never really seen any play. And so, unfortunately, I can't really see this seeing much play. Like, it's the same thing with Echo, where it's the flexibility of it's nice, and the fact that you can, even though it's a 2-mana card, you can use it in the late game for some really good value. You could use it on multiple minions that you want to buff, but It's good for Lanessa. Yeah, it's obviously good for Lanessa, but Lanessa is one card in your deck, and the turn you're playing this, you're having a fairly slow turn. It is quite good for the Paladin quest for sure, because you can like get use this for multiple charges for the quest in one turn, but it's just, you're spending so much mana to do it that I just honestly don't think it's worth it. Okay, the Glass Knight. Formula 4/3, Divine Shield. Whenever you restore health, gain Divine Shield. I really like this card. Like, a Formula 4/3 Divine Shield is an okay card. It's pretty decent. And restoring health in Paladin is not that hard. There's quite a few lifestealy tools and healing effects. The Glass Knight could sometimes be pretty difficult to remove. Obviously, they can just remove it on their turn. They can do, like ping it and then Frostbolt it, for example. That type of thing. But if you ever get to trade with it and then get some healing and get Divine Shield again, you can get, like, this card. This is a really fun card, actually. It's a really fun card. Friendly Bartender Synergy. Ha! Doesn't the Glass Knight work if I heal minions? I mean, it says whenever you restore health. So I'm assuming that means whenever you restore health to anything. It would say whenever you restore health to, like, your hero, I think, if it was just your hero. You can restore health to minions as well. Okay. That's Paladin. Okay. Chameleos. 1/1/1. Beast. Legendary. Each turn that's in your hand is transform it into a card your opponent is holding. This is a really cool card because you can just let this sit in your hand and just kind of gradually figure out your opponent's whole hand by just kind of, well, it transforms into the cards and then you can pick. It's kind of like Shift of Zarus, but instead of random stuff, it's for your opponent's hand. It's like a way better Shift of Zarus. And your opponent is only going to be playing good cards, really. I mean, they might be playing cards that synergize with each other that aren't useful for you because you don't run those synergies in your deck. And against aggro, Chameleos probably isn't going to be that good because against aggro, you want defensive tools rather than something like this. But in like slower games, this card is going to be amazing, I think. One of the things that kind of lets it down a little bit is that it transforms into something each turn, and so you can't really set up for it because you don't know what it's going to transform into next turn. Like, you could say you're against like a cube block. You could be given, it could be like your turn 9 next turn, and Chameleos could transform into a Void Lord, but then the next turn it's probably not going to be a Void Lord, and so you're going to end up getting something else, and so that card might not be useful on that specific turn. So I think Chameleos will sometimes be a little bit difficult to actually play, but I think it's really good. Yeah. The scouting information is underrated. Yes, scouting information is really, really good, especially in slower games. Yeah. I like this card a lot. Okay, Coffin Crusher. 6 mana, 6/5. Death Rattle. Summon a Death Rattle minion from your hand. The obvious one is Obsidian Statue. It's obviously kind of the biggest Priest Death Rattle minion that is very nice and would be amazing to pull from this. I actually think Coffin Crusher is going to be really good. Like, it's not... Like, you compare this to Bone Drake. Bone Drake is a 6 mana, 6/5 that's adding a dragon to your hand. This is a 6 mana, 6/5 that's putting something onto the board. So for tempo, this is really good. What other death... The only question for me about this card is what other Death Rattles are you going to be playing in your deck? Like, you're going to be playing 2 Coffin Crushers probably. You're going to be playing 2 Obsidian Statues. Other than those, what other Death Rattles do you want? Because you don't need to have massive Death Rattles to pull. You can have some kind of mid-rangey Death Rattles pulling from this. Like, maybe you want to play, like, Cairn. There's the new 8 mana 4/4 that summons 2/2/2s that summon 1/1s, which is kind of interesting, but I'm not sure if you're actually going to play that. Bone Drakes, Deathwing Dragonlord. You can maybe play Bone Drakes and have like a Death Rattle Dragon Priest, but I don't know. I think because of how good this is when it pulls Obsidian Statue, I think this will see play. Anyway. On to the next one. Divine Hymn. Restore 6 health to all friendly characters. 2 mana. So, it's like kind of like Circle of Healing, which is a very, very good card, by the way. Circle of Healing is amazing, but this gives you a little bit more health to everything, and it's 2 mana more. I think this card's great, especially when you have things like Injured Blade Master, a Northshire Cleric, and there's the new 4/9 Dragon, which we'll come on to in a minute, that also has more synergies with healing. It also heals your face. Oh, that's a good point. That's a good point. Yeah, it also does heal your face. But this seems really good to me. Some kind of healing priest with like high health things is going to be very interesting to try out, and I think is going to be good. I mean, I think priest's still going to be good with this new expansion. Glittermoth, 5 and a 4/4 beast epic. Battlecry, if your deck has only odd cost cards, double the health of your other minions. I'm not sure about this card. Like, I don't think it's gonna see any play. Like, the healing, the upgraded, like if you're playing like an odd priest, the upgraded priest hero power is really nice. Like 2 mana restore 4 health, but I don't know, man. I don't think it's gonna see play. Doubling the health of your other minions is good though, but it's I can't see it working. I can't see it working really. Okay, Holy Water, 5 mana priest spell, deal 4 damage to a minion. If that kills it, add a copy of it to your hand. I really like this card. So it's removal, but also removal that's giving you some more value. Also, you get to choose what the value is. So you can some situations you can deal 4 damage to your own minion. If you did some of the battle cry you want to go off again, you can Holy Water Void Lord. I mean, just anything. I think this card's really cool. Like, if you're playing this card, it's definitely going to be in a very slow priest deck, like proper control-y. But it's really nice because it's not actually like the effect isn't that great. Like 5 mana deal 4 damage is not that great, but the benefit of adding a card to your hand is like what could definitely make this worth playing. I think odd and even decks will see more play in Wild since you have way more good cards to build a deck. Maybe. Fun card, a way for Priest to deal with 4/4s. Yeah, that's a good point. Priest might be able to finally deal with Miracle Rogue. Lady in White, 6 mana 5/5, Battlecry, cast Inner Fire on every minion in your deck. This card seems insanely good. Like, the majority of priest minions have higher health than attack. So this seems really good in certain priest decks. Like, I don't think you're just gonna throw this in every priest deck, but this is gonna be good in a lot of priest decks, that's for sure. Rip Twilight Drake. Okay, yeah, it does suck with Twilight Drake. Like I said, there are certain cards this isn't going to be as good with, but there's a lot of cards this is going to be really good with. Oh god, this card is good, man. Gurubashi Berserker. I mean, there's lots of minions that you can think about. Like there's a new mech that was it like a 4 mana 0/9 taunt or something. Like with this card is insane. But then if you don't draw Lady in White, then it's just a 4 mana 0/9 taunt. So I don't think you're not going to be building a deck purely around Lady in White. I think you're just going to be putting Lady in White in decks that it works well in, if that makes sense. The 7/7 Shadowed Horror minion. Yeah, it could be good in that. It could definitely be good in that. It'll be the new Keleseth, in my opinion. 6 mana Keleseth. Dup! I think it's the most overhyped card this expansion. Oh, really, One Man Show? Why do you think it's the most overhyped? I think it's good, man. I think it's good. Seems really good. Great with things like Tar Creeper as well. Anyway, let's move on. Nightscale Matriarch. 7 mana, 4 mana rare dragon. Whenever a friendly minion is healed, summon a 3/3 whelp. So this seems very good, right? The stat line isn't great, but it's a dragon which means, whoa, another way of activating Duskbreaker, which is obviously one of the most broken cards in the game at the moment. So I think one of the main things is it's just another way of activating Duskbreaker. And it'd be interesting to see if we can have some kind of Dragon Priest deck. But, I mean, it won't be fully Dragon. It will still have a few Dragons to activate Duskbreaker, etc. But then having lots of healing synergies. It'd be really interesting to see if that that can be good. Because if you get 1/3/3 out of this, it's essentially 7 mana for like 7/12 worth of stats. Which is really good. I think this card's really nice. Like, 9 health is decent. The 4 attack is what lets it down a little bit. But can you imagine if this had something like 6 health? If this had, 6 attack, sorry, this card would look insane. And I don't think the attack matters as much in Priest, because it's way more about the health of minions in Priest, because of all the healing. So I think this card is really nice. Okay. Quartz Elemental. 5 and a 5/8 can't attack while damaged. Are we going to be playing this card in our Heal Priest, where we're playing lots of healing effects? We're playing Circle of Healing, we're playing the 2 mana restore 6 health to all friendly characters. My problem with this is that I don't think it's enough. Like, you could print a 5 mana 5/6 elemental and it wouldn't see play. You can print a 5 mana 5/7 elemental and it might see play. 5 mana 5/8 is only 1 health more, and it has the downside of can't attack while being damaged. So I actually don't think this will see much play. Then again, how hard it is to remove. Maybe this is the type of thing you might want to put in like a Divine Spirit and a Fire Priest, because you can get it to full health. Like, it's quite a cool card. I do like the design of it, because there's definitely certain things you can do with it, but I don't think it's quite good enough, honestly. There's always silence. Yeah, you can silence it. You could silence it. Lady in White. Yeah, I mean, Lady in White gets it to an 8/8, but that's not that insane. There's way better cards that can attack while damaged that you'd rather use with Lady in White. Anyway. Squashling. 2 mana 2/1, Echo, Battlecry, restore 2 health. So this could be good with the new 7 mana dragon that summons a 3/3 every time something's healed. But I actually find this one the hardest one to review out of all the priest cards. Like, it has lots of nice synergies. You can use it with like Cleric and get lots of healing multiple times to get multiple draws. So I think this card can have some really cool synergies and do some cool things. And I think it probably will be good. It's kind of nice for tempo as well, because you can, say you're using it with like Cleric, you play your Cleric on turn 1, and then you bump your Cleric into something, and instead of using your hero power, you can play Squashling instead, so you restore the 2 health and get the 2/1 on board, so it's slightly better for tempo, while it has the effect of potentially doing lots of things in the late game. So I think it's a pretty cool card. Flexibility makes it great. Yeah, that's the same. That is the thing. Like, the flexibility of Echo is really nice. Super good with Orkney. I mean, I actually don't think it's that great with Orkney, to be honest. Like, if you have had Orkney survive a turn, it's great. But Orkney surviving a turn very, very, very rarely happens. And if Orkney isn't surviving a turn, you can only do Orkney with 3 Squashlings, which isn't that insane. But yeah, I think it's decent. Vivid Nightmare. 3 mana epic spell. Choose a friendly minion, summon a copy of it with 1 health remaining. So this is the type of card that could be good with Death Rattle minions. If we have some kind of Death Rattle priest going on, then this might be the type of thing you want to play in it. Like, using this on the Coffin Catcher, was that his name? Whatever that guy was, is pretty good. And there's all the big Death Rattle minions you'd like to use it on. But I actually don't think this card will see much play. The only way I can see this seeing play is if you, for some kind of OTK, like maybe use something like Eternal Servitude to bring back like Velen, and then you use Vivid Nightmare on Velen, and then you have like some kind of OTK potential. I think that type of thing could be good. The 3 mana makes it hard to judge. I think it's average, maybe a 1-off. Lyram Radiance, plus this isn't a win condition though. Yeah. I think some kind of Quest Control Priest is going to be what Priest will be running. I mean, if Quest Priest is a thing, yes, you'll probably play this in it. It'll be really interesting to see if Quest Priest actually becomes a thing. Okay, well, that's the end of Priest. Blink Fox, 3 mana 3/3 beast, add a random card to your hand from your opponent's class. Now, this card looks just great. It's pretty basic, a 3 mana 3/3 that just gives you a card. But in Rogue, it's great. You're going to get a random card. Which, when you play this random card, Tess Greymane can play it later in the game. So this card is just great. I mean, I didn't really have much else to say about this card other than that I can't wait to play it, and I think it's going to be very good. Cheap Shot. 2 mana, Echo, deal 2 damage to a minion. This one's quite interesting because you can do this with like say if you auctioneer and then you like play this and then you can like prep and then like play this again. That's pretty cool. But when you're comparing this to like Backstab is just so much better than this card. Like, you're basically doing the same thing but for 2 mana less. However, you can do this lots of times. And it's the same thing with Echo, where like the flexibility makes it pretty good. Like, you're doing 2 damage for 2 mana, or you're doing 4 for 4, or you're doing 6 for 6, or you're doing 8 for 8. And you don't have to use them on the same minion. You can like spread them out among different minions. Also, if you have something like a Thalnos on the board or spell damage, you can end up doing 3 damage to minions on different things. So I'm not like 100% sure this card will see play, but I think there's a decent chance because of its flexibility and versatility. What do you do when you queue into another rogue? Oh yeah, well with Burgle Rogue or some Thief type rogue, when you do queue into another rogue, you are kind of screwed. Yeah, you're kind of screwed. Anyway. Cursed Castaway, 6 mana 5/3. Death Rattle Rush, draw a combo card from your deck, and it's a pirate. So, I think the fact it's a pirate is pretty irrelevant. I don't think Pirate Rogue is particularly going to be a thing. What combo cards are you looking for from this? I mean, you can find something like... Wait, I feel like Vilespine Slayer is rotating out, right? Like, Vilespine Slayer is arguably the best combo card at the moment in Rogue. And if that's rotating out, then... feels bad. I think this card is just too slow, really. Drawing cards is nice. Like, you can get, like, SI7 Agent, for example, which is sweet. Oh, Valstein Spades? Valspine Zongoro? Oh, yeah, shit, okay. Okay. That makes it slightly better, because Valspine is so insane. If you can, like, remove something and then, like, get a Valspine for next turn and then get a Valspine off. I don't know, man. This card just does seem slightly too slow for me. However... combo cards are all generally really good for tempo, so the turn after you play this, you're probably going to be having a big tempo play. I don't think it's going to be good, man. I don't think this card's going to be good. No. Okay, Cutthroat Buccaneer. 3 mana 2/4 combo, give you a weapon +1 attack. This card, however, seems great. Obviously, this is another pirate, but I don't think... I mean, maybe we could make a Pirate Rogue. Pirate Rogue could actually be a thing, potentially. I mean, it could have been a thing before. Like, it's had the potential to be played before, but just other pirate decks have been better than it. But, this card is just great. Like, no matter what type of rogue you're playing. Like, buffing your standard dagger is good. You can buff it with Deadly Poison. You can buff the new 4 mana weapon. You can buff, Kingsbane is... possibly one that could see some play. This card seems really good. One thing about it, though, is that, like, generally, say you're on coin, you're going to be daggering on turn 2, and then you don't really want to coin this out on turn 3. Like, you'd have to coin this out and play a 1-drop to be, like, mana efficient. So, sometimes it could be hard to activate the combo, especially because counterfeit coin is rotating out. Like, the fact that counterfeit coin is rotating out is kind of annoying for a lot of rogue decks. But, this card seems really strong. Face Collector. 3 with a 2/2 Echo. Battlecry, add a random legendary minion to your hand. So you can play this 3 times and get 3 legendary minions in your hand. You could even Shadow Step it and play another one for 1 mana. So the value you can potentially get from this is insane. Is it going to be good? I mean, one thing that's interesting about it is that you could get legendary minions from other classes. And then Greymane, what's their name? Tessa Greymane, I think it is. I've got to find out now. Tessa Greymane. Yeah, she can repeat playing the legendary minion you've already played. However, the problem with Face Collector is that they're random legendary minions, so they could be really bad, and the card is slow itself. So you could end up just playing this card for really, like, playing this card and losing tempo, and then getting bad legendaries as well. So I'm not 100% sold on this card, to be honest. I'm not 100% sold on this card. There are so many poor legendaries these days. There are quite a few poor legendaries, which is why this might just not see any play, to be honest. But it's got so much value that I'm definitely going to be trying it out anyway and seeing what we can do with it. What do you think about Blizzard continuing to use the word random in their cards? Would the game be better if every card with the word random was reworked to have less variance? No. I don't think so. I think that RNG is one of the things that makes Hearthstone so successful and so fun. Because, especially with net decking, you get a lot of people playing the same decks on ladder, and people are just playing you're playing against the same deck every time. Like, it's just Q-block everywhere. Q-block, Murloc Paladin, Murloc Paladin, Murloc Paladin. And everyone just ends up playing the same decks. And so having some kind of variance and randomness actually makes every game a different experience, which I actually think is good for the game. If every game is exactly the same, Hearthstone would get really boring really quickly, and yeah, no one would want to play it. But RNG is part of... Like, having a decent amount of RNG makes the game fun. It means either player could win if they get a little bit of luck on their side. And, yeah, I think RNG is actually good for the game. Obviously, there's a limit. Obviously, there is a limit to RNG. Like, too much RNG. Like, Yogg was a bit much. That being said, I do love Yogg. But if they made every card like Yogg, that would obviously just be ridiculous. Anyway, next card. Mistwraith, 4 mana 3/5 rare minion. Whenever you play an Echo card, gain +1/+1. So I actually really like this card because you can just play this on turn 4. And a 3/5 body isn't that bad. Like, you can consider it to something like Fandral, for example. Whereas a 4 mana 3/5, where on its own it's not like great, but if you ignore it, it can get a bit out of control. So you can play Mistwraith, and then the turn after use like prep and coins type things to like, you could potentially play like 3 of the deal 2 damage Echo card. Cheap Shot, I think it's called. You can do Cheap Shot like 3 times. And then suddenly get this to like a 6/8. And potentially even more if you're playing more Echo cards in your deck. So I do really like this card, actually. A lot. Zorkaz just subscribed. Thank you very much, Zorkaz. Welcome to the Jackoffs. What about playing on 3 with coin? Yeah, you could play this on 3 with coin and then play 2 Echo cards the turn after and get this to a 5/7. With the potential to get even bigger. So I like this card a lot. I like this card a lot. You have to remember that also, I believe, like, Rogue might be one of the best classes. Like, one of the things coming into the new expansion is that it feels like Q-Block or Control Warlock could still be one of the best decks in the game. Because early, like, Possessed Lackey with Void Lords and things are really hard to deal with. But Rogue is actually one of the best classes at dealing with that because of Sap. So I think Rogue might actually be pretty good. Like, I feel like if Warlock is still very popular, then Rogue could be good. Okay, next we have Pickpocket. 2 mana rare spell, Echo, add a random card to your hand from your opponent's class. So this is a really nice card for the Test Greymane deck. I mean, it is kind of slow, like compared to the Fox, for example. Like the Fox is way better than this card for tempo. But the thing about this card is that it could potentially be a ton of value. If you're against a control deck, you can just spend 10 mana and add 5 cards to your hand. Also, you don't know what cards you're going to get, so you could end up getting cards that you suddenly want to play or could be good for your situation. So I'm definitely going to be trying it in Test Greymane deck. Other than Test Greymane, probably not going to play this card because it's kind of slow. But definitely going to try it in that. Generally, questing is better because Echo is probably going to be pretty weak. Yeah. Your answer on RNG was quite insightful, but then how would you feel about Blizzard changing all charge minions to rush? In my opinion, the worst examples of interactive combos in the game have all had a charge minion at the center. I mean, I don't think charge being completely removed from the game necessarily needs to happen. I just think it needs to be controlled a little bit. Like, the only I mean, right now, I don't think there's many things with charge in the game that are not much of a problem. I would say Doomguard could be the only one right now. Like, they have nerfed a lot of charge minions in the past, and I don't think there's that many charge minions that are a problem right now. Also, I don't think, like, a lot of the times with charge minions, it's to do with, like, OTK. I don't think having OTK decks is a bad thing. But you just don't want too many. Anyway, next card. Spectral Cutlass. A 4-mana 2/2 rogue weapon. Epic. Lifesteal. Whenever you play a card from another class, gain +1 durability. So, this card looks really weak initially. It's a 4-mana 2/2, which is very slow and bad. But it could potentially be equipped forever, and so if you're playing a Test Greymane deck where you're playing lots of cards from other classes, I'm actually just gonna say I think this card is good. I think Spectral Cutlass is actually really good. Like, it's gonna be fairly easy to like, you can buff its attack as well. Like, you'd easily be playing Deadly Poison in your deck to buff its attack. And because it has lifesteal, it can kind of sustain you for a bit and help you survive for longer. And if you survive for longer, then you're going to have more time to play cards from other classes, which is going to increase the durability and allow you to kind of just survive for longer. Especially with Rogue having cards like Backstab and Prep, which can give you tempo plays that can allow you to have a slow turn like this. Like, you can do, say, Spectral Cutlass and Backstab on turn 4, which is not a particularly slow turn. You're probably going to removing like a 4 health minion or something, which is okay. And then the turn after, you can play like Deadly Poison and a card you've already created from another class, and then suddenly you have a 4/2 weapon, and that, which is really good, that also has lifesteal. And I think this is actually good. I actually think this card is good. But for this to be good, the kind of Test Greymane like Burgle type rogue deck would have to be good. But yeah, in that deck specifically, I like this card. There's one really bad thing about Test and Cutlass. If you're playing against a rogue, it's basically dead, like completely dead. That is true. Yeah, that is true. That is true. Anyway, I like this card. Let's move on. Test Greymane. I think Test Greymane is insane. There's going to be some situations where you create cards from other classes that are targetable, and then when you play them, obviously you're targeting things you want to play them, but then when Test Greymane plays them, she could end up targeting them on yourself or bad targets, which could suck. But in general, I think Test Greymane is going to be really powerful. Wanted. 4-mana epic spell, deal 3 damage to a minion. If that kills it, add a coin to your hand. Now, this card is slightly overcosted. Like, 4-mana, deal 3 damage is not that good. But you have to kind of think of it as essentially, like, 3-mana, deal 3 damage. Because you're getting the coin, which is giving you 1 extra mana. So really, it's like 3-mana, deal 3 damage, but it's like a delayed. 1 mana is delayed because you're going to be playing it later with the with like Auctioneer or some other combo type cards. I feel like if Miracle Rogue sees play, this will see play. Miracle Rogue needs coins to work and combo activators, and you have to remember you can prep this out, so you could just prep it out for like 1 mana, and then you can use it with backstab, so you can do backstab wanted on turn 4 to kill a 5 mana minion and get a coin in your hand. I think Miracle Rogue... Well, if Miracle Rogue sees play, you would play this card, I think. Just shows you how unspeakably broken Tomb Pillager was. Yeah, Tomb Pillager was busted, man. Tomb Pillager was busted. But, I think Miracle Rogue could be a thing, by the way. And if Miracle Rogue's a thing, I'm going to play this card. So I'm definitely going to be trying it. Definitely going to be trying it. It is slightly overcosted, but having coins in Rogue is so powerful that I would play it. It's also going to be a good card to prep. Like, actually, in Miracle Rogue, there's actually not that many good things to prep. Like, you want to prep Fan of Knives, but prepping, like, Eviscerate or Sap actually isn't that good because you're kind of wasting 1 mana. Because you're prepping a spell to make it cost 3 less, but then you're only prepping a 2 mana cost spell. So it's not actually that. You're actually wasting 1 mana, essentially. Whereas with this, you can prep it, and it'll still cost 1 mana, but you're not actually, like, wasting any mana, if that makes sense. Anyway. If Miracle works, this works. Okay, Blazing Invocation. A 1 mana Shaman spell. Discover a Battlecry minion. Shaman has... In fact, Shaman has some decent Battlecry minions. You have things like Jinyu for healing. There's obviously a ton of neutral Battlecry minions, including Elementals. Like, Elementals have some of the best Battlecry minions, actually, like Blazecaller, for example. Really, it's just Lotheb that breaks Shudderwock. We're gonna have a long talk about Shudderwock because I haven't even thought about the potential things Shudderwock can do yet. But yeah. Anyway, this card isn't that exciting. We have to remember that some of the new cards that Shaman have got have been to do with spells, and so like Hagatha. In fact, let me just switch between the cards. It'll be a lot easier to do it like this. Like Bogshaper, for example. A 7 mana 4/8 isn't that exciting, but if you have lots of cheap spells, it can help you draw some cards. So things like Blazing Invocation could be really good to help Bogshaper. Honestly, it wouldn't be weird if Miracle Shaman might work now. A lot of cheap spells to fuel Auctioneer. Miracle Shaman, wow. I mean, you're definitely playing Blazing Invocation in that, and you definitely play Zap as well. I think Zap is great, by the way. 0 mana, deal 2 damage to a minion, overload 1. So it's basically like a backstab, but it overloads you. Backstab's obviously an insane card that's played in almost every rogue deck. And Shaman doesn't have that much good early game at the moment. So I think Zap could definitely help Shaman a fair amount, especially if we're playing some kind of Shaman deck that has a lot of spells in that plays Bogshaper. A 7 mana 4/8 obviously is pretty slow. It is an elemental though, that's obviously an upside, so it can have synergy with other elemental cards in Shaman. We also have there's the 7 mana 4/4 that summons 2/2/3 taunts if you played an elemental last turn. That's another Shaman card that's never really seen much play, but 8 health is decent. So with the 2 new cheap spells we've seen from Shaman, Bogshaper maybe could see some play. Partly because Shaman just doesn't have very good card draw. Like, Shaman is one of the classes that struggles most with card draw. I mean, alongside, like, Hunter. Hunter also really struggles with card draw. So just get a card draw card in Shaman is going to be better than a card draw card in another class because other classes already have really good card draw. So I think this card is definitely better than it looks. Sorry. It can have a good combo with Unstable Evolution. Oh, wow, that's true. So you can play Bogshaper, and then on turn 10... Well, on turn 10, you can do Bogshaper, Zap, and then Unstable Evolution, one of your other minions 3 times, and you're drawing 4 cards while summoning a 4/8, and dealing 2 damage to another minion, and evolving one of your own minions 3 times. So maybe, I don't know. I feel like if Shaman is going to have any kind of deck that's reliant on card draw, it could be just reliant on Bogshaper. Earthen Might. To me, this card seems insanely good. A 2-mana spell, give a rare spell. Give a minion +2/+2. If it's an elemental, add a random elemental to your hand. This is going to be great to use on something like Firefly. Like an elemental shaman deck has lots of good things in the mid game. You've got like Tar Creeper, you've got like Servant of Kalamos, you've got Blaze Caller, Fire Elemental. But there aren't that many strong early game elementals. So being able to play this on one of the early game ones while adding another elemental to your hand is really nice. This card is just great. Will Elemental Shaman be a thing? I'm not sure. I think because Warlock is probably still going to be very dominant with like Cube Lock and Void Lords and stuff, and Hex is, I mean, Shaman is one of the best classes that has the best answers to that with things like Hex, etc. And Earthshock is actually really good against Possessed Lackey. Maybe Elemental Shaman could actually become more popular. I think it's definitely his best chance. On Glacial Shard after freezing, OP. Yeah. Wax Elemental. Yeah, this is definitely good on Wax Elemental. So Wax Elemental is the 1 mana 0/2 Divine Shield Taunt. You can use this on that, and then suddenly you have a 2/4 Divine Shield Taunt for 3 mana while adding another elemental to your hand. So that's pretty interesting. This card is Blizzard saying we really want Elemental Shaman to be a deck. I mean, I wouldn't mind Elemental Shaman being a deck. I'd be pretty happy to see Elemental Shaman being a deck for a while. It hasn't really had much of a chance. It's seen a little bit of play every now and then, but I'm happy for Elemental Shaman to see a bit of play. Ghost Light Angler, 2 mana Murloc, 2 mana 2/2 Murloc with Echo. This card doesn't get me that excited. I mean, if you're playing like Quest Shaman, you're gonna play this card because it can get you a lot of Murlocs, but I'm not convinced that Murloc Shaman is gonna be good. So too bad there's no Mass Hex in Shaman. Mass Hex, oh god, that'd be insane. Hagatha the Witch. Battlecry deals 3 damage to all minions. It costs 8 mana and you get 5 armor. So the initial effect is decent. Like a 3 damage AoE is always nice. And it changes your hero power to whenever you play a minion, add a random Shaman spell to your hand, right? I'm pretty sure that's what it is. So we do have some new spells, which that can be interesting with. But Shaman has a lot of good defensive spells. Like you've got Hex, you've got Lightning Storm, you've got some good healing cards. We now have the Battlecry Discover a Minion, so we have a couple of spells that can create minions with like that, like Feral Spirit. So if you're playing this card, you're probably going to be playing it in an elemental deck. And what's cool about an elemental deck is you have things like Igneous Elemental and Firefly, where like you can play Hagatha and then literally just play Firefly and the elemental, and then you're adding 2 random spells to your hand. So you could potentially get a lot of spells from this. Really, really good to get this down before Shutterwalk. Hagatha the Witch, yeah, I think Hagatha the Witch is a really cool card. I would like to see this some play. What class are you talking about? Is there a new one? I mean, you're showing Shaman cards, but you're talking about anything shameful. What? I'd like to see a Hex Totem at the end of your turn, Hex a random enemy minion. That would be sick. That'd be sick. Anyway, very excited about Hagatha. Next we have Merkspark Eel, 2 mana 2/3 Beast. Battlecry, if your deck has only even cost cards, deal 2 damage. So if you were playing this card, you'd also be playing the legendary minion that makes your totems cost 1 mana. So you'd probably be doing like Totem on turn 1, Eel on turn 2, Totem on turn 3 with Flame Tongue. I mean, I could actually... Surprisingly, I could actually see this. Like, this card is very good. Merkspark Eel is very good, man. I don't think an even Shaman will probably be a thing, but it's nice to have a card like this to make you want to do it. Like, this card is so good that it makes me want to try and make an even Shaman and kind of work out how the hell I would do that. But Yeah, I'm going to be trying a lot of things out with the odd and even stuff, by the way. A lot of it's going to be very experimental and probably won't work, but I think there's definitely some potential for some classes to maybe do it. Anyway, on to the next one. There we go, Shudderwock. 9 mana 6/6 legendary battle cry. Repeat all other battle cries from cards you played this game. Targets chosen randomly. So Hagatha is obviously one of the best ones. If you play Shudderwock after you've played Hagatha, you get a 3 damage AoE. The question is, what other battle cries are you gonna want to use this with? There's lots of elementals that have good battle cries, like Kalamos has a really good effect. You can either deal the 3 damage AoE, you can heal yourself for 12, deal 6 damage to your opponent's face, that type of thing. Primordial Drake, yeah, that's a good one. Grumble's good. Did you watch the stream, Jackie? I only got to see a little bit of the stream. Saranite Chain Gang. I mean, Saranite Chain Gang just summons a 2/3, right? Oh, wait, or does it summon another copy of this? Summon another copy of this minion, so it copies another 6/6. Oh, is that how it works? Ah, I see. The Working Man just subscribed. Thank you very much, The Working Man. Welcome to the Jackoffs. You got a small shout out in the stream if you didn't see it. Yeah, I saw it. Someone showed me it, actually. That was nice. But, yeah, what are the battle cries we want to play with this, guys? What do we want to play? Oh, Zola. Yeah, Zola's a good one. And there's the new 2 mana 2/2 that someone mentioned earlier that shuffles a copy of the minion in your deck. So basically, you can play Shudderwock, and then if you've already played the 2 mana 2/2, it will shuffle another Shudderwock into your deck. Zola puts another one in your hand. Yeah. Oh god, Battlecry Shaman's gonna be interesting, man. Is Battlecry Shaman finally gonna be a thing? It's gonna be interesting. Elise. Oh god, Elise. Wait, is Elise rotating out? No, I feel like the recent Elise was Ungura, right? Elise was Ungura. Defender of Argus and Chain Gang could be pretty nuts. Taunt Givers. 6% to get it off the 1 mana spell. Oh, there's a 6% to get this off the new 1 mana spell? Oh, wow, okay. Shudderwock. I got away with some Shudderwock action. Oh, wow. It's the next Dead Man's Hand Infinite Warrior. It looks pretty cool, man. It looks pretty cool. You can play Tinkmaster Overspark, PogChamp. This is pretty cool in Wild Jade Shaman. This is the broken Shaman legend B. Broad was talking about. Huh. If you hold a coin and play Murmuring Elemental at the same turn, this is disgusting. Yeah, that's true. Yo, the Working Man, it did come. Your sub did come through. I gave you a shout out a minute ago, man. Bladescaller may damage yourself. Yeah, that's one thing about this card. There's some, like, a lot of battle cries that you're targeting. You may end up... Like, it's the same with Tess as well. This and Tess. You could end up... I mean, the same with Yogg. You could end up just damaging yourself. I actually really love that they've brought out multiple cards that have similarities to Yogg. That I can't wait to play and I'm very excited about, and they're going to make the game really fun. Okay. Tome Cruncher. 4 mana 2/3 Beast. Epic. Taunt. Battlecry. Destroy your tomes. Gain +2/+2 for each card destroyed. So for this to be good, destroying 1 totem is not good enough. You don't want a 4/5 taunt for destroying 1 totem. Destroying 2 totems, getting a 4 mana 6/7 taunt is really good. But you're destroying two totems. So it's like... Why? Like, the only situation this is going to be good is if you're playing a deck that's very kind of token based, and you're playing, I think, the 3 mana, what's it called? Oh, I can't remember what it's called. But it's the 3 mana spell that gives all of your minions summon a random totem. This could be quite good in that deck, because in that deck you can end up with a lot of totems that are kind of useless, and you just have a load of 0/2s on the board, and so killing them to get a big totem cruncher could actually be really good. So yeah, I think even Shaman. Yeah, even Shaman. If you were playing this, if you were trying to make an even Shaman, you would definitely be playing this card, yeah. Primal Talismans. Yeah, that's what the card's called. But then, yeah, you wouldn't be able to play Primal Talismans. Is the problem in that deck. I'm definitely going to try even Shaman. I'm not convinced it's going to be a thing, though. Anyway. There's another Battlecry minion as well, by the way. Witch's Apprentice. 1 mana, 0/1 beast. Taunt. Battlecry, add a random Shaman spell to your hand. So it's a Battlecry, so it has synergy with Togger Wogger, whatever that thing's called. What the hell is that thing called? Wogger? What the hell is that card called? Shudderwock. That's what it's called. Okay. What? Okay. Witch's Apprentice is... I don't know. I'm not convinced by this card. Like, why do you want a 1 mana 0/1? Morphaloni just subscribed. Thank you very much, Morphaloni. Welcome to the Jackoffs. I kind of wish this... I just wish this was like a 1/1. Like, at least make it like a 1/1, right? And I'd take away the taunt. Like, yes, it's 0/1, so it could have synergy with, like, Flame Tongue. But... because it's a hex with a hat. It is a hex with a hat, yes. But... I don't know, man. I just... Like, the fact that I don't want to play this card. I don't want to play this card, man. To be fair, it might be worth playing. Because, firstly, it's a battle cry. Firstly, it's adding a card to your hand, and it's a minion they're going to have to kill. So, it is going to be saving you 1 health, and it's adding your card to your hand. So, I don't know. Frog stats, keep it consistent. Oh... I don't know, could you have done something else to it to just make it like... Oh, I don't know. I'm going to try it on anyway, but I don't like that it's a 0/1. Yeah. And Zap. Yeah, we've already spoken about Zap. I think Zap's actually really good. And obviously because we have like spell damage totems sometimes, this is going to be able to do 3 damage a fair amount of the time. It's going to be really good with Bog Shaper. So, cool card. And that is Shaman. Shaman's got some wicked stuff. Blood Witch. A 4 mana 3/6 rare Warlock minion. At the start of your turn, deal 1 damage to your hero. So, a 4 mana 3/6 isn't that exciting. It's okay, but it's a 4 mana 3/6 with actually a negative effect. So, for this card to actually be played, you want to be playing a deck where you actually want to damage your own hero. And what type of deck are you going to want to be doing that in? Well, you definitely going to want to be playing Deathweb Spider. 5 and a 4/6 epic Battlecry. If your hero took damage this turn, gain lifesteal. And Duskbat. 3 and a 2/4 beast. If your hero took damage this turn, summon 2 1/1 bats. But yeah, I do like how these 3 cards have synergy with each other. Like the Blood Witch and the Deathweb Spider and the Duskbat. I don't think, like personally, I don't think they're probably going to see any play because I think just other Warlock decks are going to be better. But like Q-Block, for example, or more control-y decks. But I like the kind of theme of them, for sure. Did you go out last night drinking? Did you get champagne? I did not go out last night drinking, no. I streamed yesterday, and then after my stream, I've been recording some videos. Cube is going to be good and refined faster, but I don't think they're going to be this huge end boss kind of deck. I mean, they don't have... Q-Block has lost N'Zoth, which is obviously a big deal. Like, they still have the Death Knight, which is very, very powerful. But the fact they've lost N'Zoth is definitely a good thing. Okay, let's just go through these cards. Curse of Weakness. 2 mana rare spell. Echo, give all enemy minions -2 attack until your next turn. So it's not like with Priest where you can, give your opponent's minions -2 attack and then steal them, or use Shadowed Horror or something like that. So the only time, like, what are you actually going to be using this for? You're going to be using this for, like, trading, maybe? I'm not sure. Because I got a job as a bureaucrat, and I can't be going around with my real name on the internet again. I'm going to be back for Witchwood. Okay, Zansha. No problem, man. Good card, Frost Nova, and Pint-Sized. I mean, the best thing about it is it's until your next turn, right? So you can, like, essentially nullify an opponent's board. Obviously, they can still, like, buff their minions, but you could do, like, Curse of Weakness, Doomsayer, something like that. So everything with 4 attack or less goes to 0 attack, and then Doomsayer could be hard to kill. I don't know. I'm not... Like, how good is this on turn 4 with Doomsayer? Like, you play this on turn 4 with Doomsayer. It's okay, but it's only -2 attack. Like, if they have anything with, like, 3 attack, or if they have a weapon, or if they have any buffs. Oh, Void Ripper. Oh, shit, I didn't think about that. So you can do Curse of Weakness with Void Ripper. That is, I think this is way too clunky, man. Like, you have to remember that Warlock has some of the best removal in the game. Like, Warlock has Hellfire, Warlock has Defile, you have Shadow Flame, you have Twisted Nether. I'm not convinced you're going to want to play this. Like, yes, if you get all your opponent's minions to 0 attack and then use Void Ripper, it's going to clear their board. But what if they have a board of high attack? Like, to do Void Ripper with 2 charges of this, you have to spend 7 mana. So you have to do Curse of Weakness, then Curse of Weakness again, then Void Ripper. And that's only killing things that have 4 or less attack. I don't know, man. This is so damn flexible. Multi-use is going to be everywhere. It skips their turn, though. Like, with Doomsayer, I think it can be good. I'm just not sure about the Void Ripper thing. Like, I think with Doomsayer, this could be pretty sweet. For stalling, this can be good. And then you can, like, help set up an AoE for the next turn. So I can definitely see how this can see play, for sure. But I think, like, the big combos of it, like using it multiple times with Void Ripper, that type of thing, I don't think it's going to be as common. But it is flexible, you're right. Yeah, I mean, I think Warlock's just going to be, like, possibly the best control class. Or definitely one of the best control classes. I mean, it already is. But this kind of card is maybe something you might want to play, like, one of in a control Warlock. I'm not sure I'm not convinced you're going to want to play 2 of this. Void Ripper is a demon, so that's bad. Wait, so what's bad? How many times are you in a situation where you just needed that extra turn for board clear? Yeah, you're right. You're right. I think, like, I can definitely see how it can see play. I don't think it's, like, super. I mean, it's good. It's good, but there's going to be situations where it's kind of useless. Curse of Weakness and Corrupting Mist will do it. Oh, is Corrupting Mist, not rotating out? What expansion was Corrupting Mist? I actually really like Corrupting Mist. Corrupting Mist is one of the cards that has not seen as much play as I definitely would have liked it to. What do you think of this in Zoo, Curse of Weakness? No, I wouldn't play Curse of Weakness in Zoo. You don't really want reactive cards. You want as many proactive cards as you can play, to be honest. Oh, you can't play Void Ripper with Lackey and Skull. Oh, yeah, of course, yeah. Yes, that's another reason you don't want to play Void Ripper. Okay. So let's forget the Void Ripper thing and just think about just playing this on its own to stall or with Doomsayer to try and get Doomsayer off. Yeah, I can see it seeing some play. I can definitely see it seeing some play, but I'm not as excited about it as you guys seem to be. Anyway. Dark Possession. 1 mana, deal 2 damage to a friendly character, discover a demon. So you could use this on Possessed Lackey. Wait, if you use this on Possessed Lackey, can you actually pull the demon that you discover? That's an interesting question. Do you reckon Fatigue Warrior will rise? It's a tiny bit to be favored against aggressive paladins and control warlocks. Oh. But with the 2-mana weapon and new mid-range minions, I imagine it will rise, no? I mean, they're losing Coldlight Oracle, which is a big thing. You have to remember that. Oh yeah, Lackey pulls from deck. What am I talking about? Okay, so I'm just forgetting how cards work now. I've been talking for so long. Jesus Christ. Anyway. What are you actually going to play this on? Deal 2 damage to a friendly character. I mean, you can still play it on Possessed Lackey. Yeah, you'll just pull the Void Lord out of your deck. But, I mean, you'd much rather play Dark Pact in most situations, is the thing. It's okay. Just play it on yourself, and it's a 1-mana tap. Yeah, you can use it on yourself. It could be good if you're playing Skull of Manari, because you can discover a demon that's really good to pull from the weapon. You could also use it to finish off like a cube. Yeah, you could use it to finish off, like say you've already used cube on a Doom God or something, you could use it to finish off the cube and then get another demon in your hand to pull from the weapon. Like there's things you can do with this, but not excited that much by it. Like it's definitely good, but in a lot of situations you'd much rather play Dark Pact on Lackey. Like, if you get Void Lord and if you have Weapon up, it's great. But if you don't have Weapon up, it's not so great. Okay. That's what Spider. So I already spoke about this a little bit. 5 and a 4/6 Beast. If your hero took damage this turn, gain lifesteal. Kind of nice. Like, healing is one thing that Warlock is... Like, we're losing... What are they losing? They're losing Mistress and Mixtures. But they still have Dark Pact and they still have Spellstone. And Siphon Soul they could play as well. It's kind of nice to see Warlock getting some lifesteal minions. I think this card is good. Like, this card is pretty good for Warlock. It's not a demon either, so you can't pull it from, like, Possessed Lackey or Weapon, which is generally probably going to be good. You can compare this a little bit to, like, Despicable Dreadlord, though, in terms of, like, slower Warlock decks that are going to contest that 5 mana slot. I feel like Despicable Dreadlord's just, like, really good. Whereas you're probably more likely to play this in Cube Block, I guess, because you don't want to pull Despicable Dreadlord from Weapon or Possessed Lackey. It's a pretty nice card. It's nothing insane though. It's just kind of averagey. Already spoke about Duskbat. It's a pretty nice card. But the issue is that you can't really play it on its own. Like, you can't just, like, play this on turn 3 or coin this on turn 2. You want to be combining it with a Flame Imp or something else. But what it's doing for the mana cost is really nice. I mean, you could even use this with the 1 mana deal 2 damage. You could deal 2 damage to your hero, discover a demon, and then play Duskbat, which is kind of cool. How many 5-drops do you want to run in Cube Block? Yeah, I wouldn't actually play that last card in Cube Block, by the way. Is Jackie ready to ignore all our requests for him to play Quest Warlock this expansion? I mean, when it comes around to Wacky Wednesday, like tomorrow, it would normally be Wacky Wednesday, but because it's literally the last day of the expansion, I'm just going to be playing Yogg decks all day. But the week after, I'll definitely play your guys' suggestions. Fiendish Circle, 4 mana summon 4 1/1 imps. This card is okay, not great. I can't imagine it seeing any play. And that's the end of that. Glinda Crowskin, 6 mana 3/7 legendary minion. Minions in your hand have Echo. So this is a card you're definitely going to want to kill if it's ever on the board. What kind of cards are you actually going to want to be using this though within? Like, okay, say we're thinking about Cube Block. There's not many minions you're going to be able to play this with. Unless you're playing it on turn 9 or 10 or something, and then the turn after you can play like 2 cubes or 2 Doom Guards or 2 Possessed Lackeys. You can play the 1 mana Librarian. You can play 2 Stonehill Defenders. Like, I feel like there's not actually that many cards you actually like want to use it with. So could this maybe fit in a deck other than Cube Block? Maybe some other kind of Warlock deck? Happy Ghoul. Oh, Happy Ghoul is a good one. So you get some lifesteal, and then you can just bam, 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 flood your board with 3/3s. That's a pretty cool. That's a pretty cool idea. Voodoo Doctor. Yeah, I can't imagine that seeing play though. You can recruit with Oakheart. Oh, recruit Glinda with Oakheart. Yeah, but I'm not sold. I'm not sold. Like, this card is nice, but it's kind of hard to see what deck you actually fit it in. Summoning Portal Nympharota. Really good if you get it from Evolve. Yeah, if you get it from Evolve, it is nuts. Although Evolve is actually rotating out. I mean, obviously you can still get like Unstable Evolution, or use the Shaman Death Knight. But yeah, I'm actually finding it hard to see what you would use this with. I mean, one of the nice things about it is that it's got a decent amount of health, so you could play it one turn and it has an okay chance of surviving, and then you can do even more things with it next turn. Anyway, let's move on. Lord Godfrey, 7 a 4/4, Battlecry, deal 2 damage to all of the minions. If any die, replete this Battlecry. So this is just Defile on a stick, basically. A lot of people have been calling it, and I completely agree with that, and it seems very good. This does seem really good to me. A mid-range Zoo-type deck. Zoo with Wisp Sea Giants. Yeah, a Zoo-type deck might actually be the best one for the 6-mana 3/7 to see playing. Like, a control Warlock, I'm actually finding it harder to see it seeing play, whereas a more aggressive mid-rangey deck where you play the 3/7 where you're already ahead on board, and so your opponents already used a lot of their removal on your other minions, and then you play the 3/7, and it just gives you a little bit more steam to keep going. I could definitely see that being a thing. This card seems very strong. That's all I have to say about Lord Godfrey, really. I think this card will definitely see some play. Lots of play. Ratcatcher. This is interesting. 3-mana 2/2 Rush Warlock minion. It's an epic. Battlecry. Destroy a friendly minion and gain its attack and health. So you can use this on something like Cube. And then suddenly you have a 3-mana 6/8 minion that's has Rush, so you can charge it into any of your opponent's minions, and you're killing off your cube to activate whatever's inside the cube. You use this on Possessed Lackey. You get a 4/4. Kill egg. Yeah, you can kill egg. Any egg. Devilsaur egg. You can coin Devilsaur egg and then use Ratcatcher on the Devilsaur egg, and you get a 2/5 minion and then summon the 5/5 from the egg. PogChamp. Ratcatcher on cube is gross. Yeah, Ratcatcher on cube is pretty sick, right? I have to say I don't think Egg Warlock will be a thing, by the way. But it will be tried. My problem here is I can't see that many minions you actually want to use Ratcatcher on. You could use it on the 1/1, the 3-mana 1/1 that's like, pick an enemy minion, and then when this 1/1 minion dies, destroy it. That card is really cool, by the way. That is one of the coolest cards of the expansion, but we'll come on to that when we talk about neutral cards. I compare it to Void Terror, which doesn't see play, so I don't think the Rush is enough to make it playable. Yeah. Like, you have to have minions you want to kill, is the problem. And I don't think there's quite enough of your own minions you actually want to kill. Witchwood Imp. Okay, I haven't seen this before. A 1-mana 1/1 Stealth Demon. Death Rattle, give a random friendly minion +2 health. And it's a demon. This seems really good to me, actually. Warlock is just renowned for just having good 1-drops. Like, you give +2 health to something like a Flame Imp or something like that. It's really good. You can also use demon buffs on it. So it seems pretty good to me. I highly doubt we're getting expansion tomorrow for EU. I mean, tomorrow's the 11th. We're not getting it tomorrow, right? We're getting it on the 12th, I think. I mean, I think you just probably just play this in the zoo. The fact it has stealth means you get to dictate the trade and trade into whatever you want to, so... Demon buffs are rotating. I mean, you still have Demon Fire, right? You still have Demon Fire. I think it's a good card. Okay. Woodcutter's Axe. 2 mana 2/2. Death Roll give +2/+1 to a random friendly rush minion. So it's almost a replacement for Fiery War Axe, although it has 1 less attack, which is significant, but then it has a little bit of something else, which is giving +2/+1 to a random friendly rush minion. How common are rush minions going to be in Warrior is the question. Like, Warrior does have a couple of good ones, which we'll come on to shortly. But I think his weapon is decent. His weapon is decent for sure. Okay. Black Howl Gunspire. A 7 mana 3/8 can't attack. Whenever this minion takes damage, deal 3 damage to a random enemy. So I think this is one of the most interesting cards of this set. Like, it can't attack, so the 7 mana 3/8 isn't that good of a stat line. But if you're damaging it multiple times, you can do 3 damage to lots of different things, and this can do some pretty nutty stuff. You could even like cube this, but if this survives, you could like cube it. And get another one, and then I actually really love this card. I'm finding it hard to predict how good it's actually going to be, but I think it's a really cool card. 24 damage, and it could be 24 damage if you damage it 8 times. I mean, you could heal it up again. You could create more of them. Yeah. Can't wait to try this card. Looks super fun. Yeah, I agree with that for sure. I count on you to make the OTK happen. What? OTK with Black Howl Gunspire? We still have Sudden Genesis. Yeah, we still have Sudden Genesis, which can give you copies of damaged minions. That would be insane on this if this survives. What if you find a way of using like Taldaram on this? Cheat out with Oakheart. That's a good shout. Everyone always say that. Whenever there's like a slightly big minion that has like 1, 2, or 3 attack, everyone's like, oh, Oakheart. Recruit with weapon. Oh, God. Recruiting this with the weapon could be a great shout. That could be a great shout. That might be the best way of making this work, to be fair. Or any kind of recruit. Anyway, let's move on to the next one. That card looks really good, and I'm definitely excited to try out a little bit. Next one is Darius Crowley, a 5 mana 4/4 legendary rush minion. After this attacks and kills a minion, gain +2/+2. So whenever you're playing it, you're obviously going to be trying to guarantee you're actually attacking and killing something. So it's basically going to go up to 6 attack and gain 2 health after you've killed something. Hey, did I just keep missing your stream over the week, or did you go off streaming for a while? Hey, Dupe, I went skiing for a week, and yeah, so I wasn't streaming for about a week. If you check like my Twitter or anything, then I always post when I'm like going away and that type of thing, or if I'm any reason I'm not streaming, you'll be able to find out on my Twitter. We're getting more than 1 legendary per class. Yeah, we have 2 legendaries per class. 2 legendaries per class. That's Boogie Monster's son. I mean, this is basically just like a better Boogie Monster, right? Boogie Monster was terrible, never saw any play. This is 3 mana cheaper, and you get to rush and attack with it. It's such a really cool card. Like, if Tempo Warrior becomes a thing, this would be definitely in it. This card would be really sick. Will Tempo Warrior become a thing? Not sure. Like, a Rush Tempo Warrior is definitely going to be interesting to try out. I'm not convinced it's going to be a thing, but definitely worth trying. And this card would be core in it if it is. Deadly Arsenal. 6 mana spell, epic. Reveal a minion from your deck. Deal its attack to all minions. So, if Gorehowl is the only weapon in your deck, this card becomes insane. It becomes 6 mana, deals 7 damage to everything. But, unfortunately, a lot of the other warrior weapons have low attack. especially like Blood Razor is a weapon that is very, very powerful, and you definitely want to be playing in a lot of Control Warrior decks. But it's only got 2 attacks, so pulling that from Deadly Arsenal is terrible. I think Tempo Warrior beats aggro. Yeah, Tempo Warrior is definitely probably a good shout against aggro for sure. I agree with that. You kill the whole board and end up with a 14 plus 14 plus. Are you on about Darius Crowley? I mean, when I say rush, he can only attack once. Like, Darius Crowley can't, like, attack every minion on the board. He just rushes and attacks one, right? Anyway. This weapon... This card is... Like, its potential is so high with the 2 Gore Howls, but I just think that Blood Raids is so important, and that you're probably not going to play this. Yeah. Unfortunately. Festa Root Hulk, 5 mana 2/7. After friendly minion gain attacks, gain +1 attack. This is also good with rush cards. Obviously, you'd like to be playing this when you already have cards on the board. Like, say you play this and you already have 1 or 2 cards on the board, then you attack once or twice. You get like 3 or 4 attack, and then the turn after you rush with more things. I'm assuming when it attacks itself, it also gains +1 attack. So, yeah, I'm not convinced by it though. Like, even if you get it up to 6/7, it's still just a 1 mana cheaper board of Histoga, and it's a lot of effort to do that. So I'm not that convinced on this card. This is a worse Gurubashi Berserker. Militia Commander. A 4 mana 2/5 rare. This was one of the first cards they revealed, actually. With Rush. Battlecry, gain +3 attack this turn. So, on the turn you play it, it's a 4 mana 5/5 that can charge into anything. So if your opponent has something like a Tar Creeper, this is really good against it. Or any like 4 or 5 health minion in the early game. This is pretty sweet. I can see this being very good against aggro. Obviously, it's only for the attack that you play it. So onwards, when it survives on the board, it's only going to be like a 2. Like, say you charge it into a Tar Creeper, it's only going to be a 2/2 that's surviving. But in a Rush Warrior deck, I think you would play this. I think this card is definitely good enough to play. For sure. Okay. Rabid Wargun, 3 mana 3/3 Rush. Once again, I think this is just a good card. Like, your opponent has any kind of 2/3 on the board, you trade this into it, and you still have a 3/1. I think a lot of the Warrior cards are kind of basic, but if it do the job against certain things, so I think it's decent. I think it's decent. Okay. Red Band Wasp, 2 mana 1/3. Rush has +3 attack while damaged. So if this sees play, we need lots of kind of low attack minions in the early game. So like 1 mana 2/1s and that type of thing. Because having +3 attack while it's damaged is really good. Like, say you trade this into a 1/1, suddenly you have a 2 mana 4/2 on the board. That's a really big threat and it's really good. So against aggros could be really nice. Like things like Righteous Protector, for example. The Paladin plays Righteous Protector. You charge your Wasp into it. They have a 1/1. You have a 4/2. So once again, it's not good against control, but it is good against aggro. Like, Warrior might just be one of the best classes for anti-aggro, to be honest. Town Crier, 1 mana 1/2 Battlecry, draw a Rush minion from the deck. This card is just good. Like, 1 mana 1/2 draw card is solid. You might draw your Wasp to play on the follow-up turn, or any of your other good Rush minions. So, like, Rush Warrior is going to be interesting to try out, but it's hard to say how good it's actually going to be. Warpath, 2 mana spell, Echo, deal 1 more damage to all minions. I think this card's actually really good. It's pretty kind of versatile. Like, you could potentially have a 5 damage AoE, or you could just have a 1 damage AoE, depending on what stage the game you're at and what you need. It's obviously a lot more expensive than Whirlwind, like 2 mana instead of 1. is a big deal. But it's just the fact that this can be a big AoE instead. I think this card's actually pretty nice. All warrior cards is bad smoke. Dup! Do you think in the new meta a 3-2 will be better than a 2-3? A 3-2 better than a 2-3. I mean, it depends what the powerful early game cards are going to be. Like, if we've still got, like, Mana Worm. If we have, like, Flame Imp. Like, is Zoo still going to be a thing? Like, what are the aggressive decks going to be? That's going to be a question. Like, I think some kind of aggro Paladin is probably still going to be a thing. In which case, a 2-3s will probably get better against Paladin than 3-2s. Against Mage, a 3-2 is probably better than a 2-3. Oh, that's all the warrior cards. Okay, as in the Soul Thief, 7 mana, 3-3 legendary minion. Battlecry, replace your hand with a copy of your opponent's. So, for me, looking at this card, I feel like the best situations for this card are going to be when you've kind of emptied your hand and you don't have much left. So in cards like maybe like a mid-range Hunter deck, where you have a lot of aggressive tools, but Hunter really doesn't have much card draw. And so you're out of cards, and so you play Azalina, and then suddenly you can just get whatever your opponent's hand is. But other than filling your hand up when you're out of stuff, I can't see this card being very good, to be honest. Yeah. So I'll move on swiftly. Baku the Moon Eater, 9 mana 7/8 beast. Start of the game, so this is one of the 2 start of the game cards. If your deck only has odd cost cards, upgrade your hero power. So people have been suggesting you can do things like this in Warrior, so you only have lots of odd cards, and then you have the upgraded hero power, like same with what Justicar did to your hero powers. So Warrior would have Tank Up instead of their normal armor up. Hunter would have Blister Shot, 2 mana deal 3 damage, which is really powerful. I'm actually really interested to try like an aggro Odd Hunter. I think that could be interesting, to be fair. 3 damage to face is pretty tempting. Druid has a very good upgraded hero power, but they have so many strong even cards that I'm not sure if I can see it being a thing. But yeah, definitely going to be trying odd decks in a variety of classes. Winax was buffed all along. Dup! Next we have Baleful Banker. 2 mana 2/2 epic. Battlecry, choose a friendly minion, shuffle a copy of it into your deck. So this is really good for value. Like, I can imagine this probably seeing play in a few really slow decks. You can maybe use it with the... Oh god, what's that card called again? Shabawaki? Waka Wog? Oh, I can't remember. The new 9 mana Shaman legendary minion could be really good with this, because you can use Baleful Banker first, and then after you've played the Wogga Shock, after you've played the Wogga Shock, you can it can use this battle cry, and so send the Mogglepock, Woggawoff, Shudderwock. You can send the Shudderwock back into your deck, so you can use it again later, and then maybe again later. Okay, but I think this card could be really good. Blackwalled Pixie, 3 mana 3/4 Battlecry, refresh your hero power. So you could potentially use this in OTK Paladin and get 2 of the 2/2s a turn. But realistically, I can't see this seeing play. I mean, would you ever play this in an odd deck where you can use your upgraded hero power twice? Maybe, but probably not. Realistically, a lot of time it's just going to be a 3 mana 3/4. Like, if you're ever playing this, you're going to want to be like playing this on turn 7, where you do hero power, play this, hero power again, and it just doesn't seem worth it to me. That's all. Seems decent for Pala. Yeah, I mean, summoning 2 1/1s and then playing this and then summoning 2 more 1/1s is kind of nice, but it's so slow and clunky, and I just don't think it's very good. Cauldron Elemental, 8 mana 7/7. Your other elementals have +2 attack. So an 8 mana 7/7 obviously isn't very good, but if you have multiple elementals on the board, this can be pretty aggressive. And I feel like if there was some kind of aggressive elemental mage, this maybe you might even play this as like a one-off or something like that. Soup elemental PogChamp. Yeah, I think this is not bad. Not bad. You would really have to have a very minion heavy deck. Like maybe Shaman as well. Shaman could have a lot of minions for elementals, and then you're playing like Hagatha, which is also encouraging you to play lots of minions. Chief Inspector. 5 and a 4/6. Battlecry, destroy all enemy secrets. Okay, well, this is obviously just a counter to secret decks. Ice Block is rotating out, which means that maybe secrets will become less of a thing in Mage. Not sure. Cloaked Huntress is also rotating out, so maybe secrets will be less of a thing in Hunter. But this is just the anti-secret card of the set, because Era of Secrets is rotating out, so if secrets become too much of a thing, you can just bam in Chief Inspector. And it's nothing too insane. Like, it's got a decent stat line. What I like about this is it's, like, less swingy. It's not like Kirin Tor Mage, where you steal a secret and get it yourself, or like Era of Secrets, where either it's a terrible 2/4 and you never want to play it in your deck, or eat secrets and suddenly it's great. This is a bit more kind of consistent, because it's like a 5 and a 4/6 is actually a decent stat line. It's way better than the 2/4 stat line, and it destroys all your enemy's secrets. So this is actually a decent card, I think. It's only going to be played though if literally a load of people are playing secrets, of course. Kirin Tor? Oh shit, did I say Kirin Tor? I didn't mean Kirin Tor Mage, sorry. I meant oh, what's that card called? The 4 mana 4/3 that steals your opponent's secret. Oh god, what's that card called? Not Kirin Tor Mage. Kezan Mystic. Bam. That's the one. Thank you, Twitch chat. Clockwork Automaton. 5 and a 4/4. Double the damage and healing of your hero power. So, are you ever going to want to play this in an odd deck? I mean, you can imagine having like Clockwork Automaton on the board, and then having like this Blackmold Pixie as well, and doing really powerful things with your hero power, but I can't see it being a thing, to be honest. I think it's just going to be one of those like filler cards. Then again, you can use this and your hero power and actually, like, say instead of healing for 4, for example, you can heal for 8 with Priest. Instead of dealing 3 damage with Hunter, you can deal 6. But yeah, I don't think it's that good. Countess Ashmore. 7 mana 6/6 legendary. Battlecry, draw Rush, Lifesteal, and Death Rattle card from your deck. So what this card is doing is really good. Like a 7 mana 6/6. It's basically like a Curator, except it doesn't have Taunt, which is, I think, is actually a downside. I think you'd rather have Taunt. And also Rush, Lifesteal, and Death Rattle are kind of weird. Like, what deck are you going to be playing that's playing a Rush, Lifesteal, and Death Rattle minion? I have no idea. Like, it would be easy to find one where you're playing 2 of these. So, like, you could play it in, say, Paladin, and, like, you can easily have a Lifesteal and a Death Rattle. You can draw your Tyrion for turn 8, for example. Oh, it's card. Okay. Ah, okay. So weapons work. So you could draw like Blood Razor. Any lifesteal weapons. Okay, that makes it a little bit more interesting. I mean, it's definitely good. It's definitely good. Your shithead rogue weapon and Thanos. Shithead rogue weapon. Did you win the Geico tourney, or what's that trophy behind you? Oh, I won, no, I won a, that's the only tournament, that was Game Goon. That's the only tournament I've ever won. That was last year. But yeah, definitely a powerful card. It's going to be really interesting to see what class you can actually make this work in, though. Darkmere Moonkin, 7 mana 2/8 spell damage +2. I mean, this is just one of those kind of filler cards. It's not great, I think. Then again, it does have 2 attacks, so you can pull it from Oakheart. Deranged Doctor. 8 mana, 8/8. Death Rattle, restore 8 health to your hero. Are you ever going to be playing this in Death Rattle Priest? I don't think so. I mean, it's like a worse Raglight Lord, right? It's like a way worse Raglight Lord. However, it is Death Rattle, so you can pull it from your hand with the 6 mana minion in Priest, which is quite nice. But I think it's really just bad. Dollmaster Orion, 5 mana 2/6. Whenever you draw a minion, summon a 1/1 copy of it. This could be pretty good in Death Rattle decks. You can draw some minions. Could also be interesting in the Mage deck with all the Mage... Like the Mage minion deck where you have that 2 mana spell, draw 3 cards, draw 3 minions. Or draw 3 cards if it's a spell discard one. You can maybe play this in that type of thing. This is an interesting one though. I don't know exactly what deck you're gonna... Because you can't exactly tell when you're gonna be drawing it as a problem. Like, how many times is this just gonna be a 5 mana 2/6 that isn't actually getting any more value than that? I'm not sure. Dollmaster, roll the boat as rogue. Yeah, I don't know. Fellsoul Inquisitor, 4 mana 1/6 lifesteal Taunt Demon. Yeah, I can't see this seeing play either. I mean, I feel like a lot of the neutral cards are just fillers. Like, this feels like another filler card. I mean, obviously, if you can buff it, it could potentially restore you a lot of health. I don't know what you're going to be playing in it, though. In a Fire Priest? Maybe. Maybe. Okay, let's have a look through the next lot. I actually haven't seen most of these cards. Furious Etin. Any idea why during the stream they were weird about that Hench Clan Thug guy? What do you mean by weird about it? What did they do? What did they do? Okay, Furious Etin, 7 mana 5/9 taunt. I would say it's better than Bog Creeper because in a high taunt, I think you're more a big taunt. You're more bothered about the attack than the health. So probably slightly better than Bog Creeper, but still, it is like this would be really good in Arena. This would be insane in Arena, actually. Yeah, this is great in Arena. That's all I have to say about that one. Again, Greyman, 6 mana 6/5, legendary. Start of the game, if your deck only has even cost cards, your starting hero power costs 1. So I'm definitely going to be trying this out in Shaman. Like trying some kind of even Shaman, even though I'm not convinced it will be that good. I think odd decks are possibly more likely to see play than even decks. But it is kind of nice that you can slot in little hero powers, like you can get a 1/1 Silverhand Recruit for 1 mana every odd turn. Like, it's going to have to be a deck where you're wanting to hero power a lot. So I can imagine that being like Shaman or Paladin. So you can create lots of dudes. I think Baku is probably better than this guy. Gilnean Royal Guard, 8 mana 3/8, Divine Shield, Rush. Each turn that's in your hand, swap its attack and health. So an 8 mana 3/8 Divine Shield Rush is terrible, but if you actually the 3/8 is terrible anyway. If you charge this in with an 8/3, kill something like an 8/8 and still have an 8/3 on the board, that's actually pretty nice. This card is not going to be good enough to see play in any standard decks, I don't see though. But I feel like a lot of these neutral cards are just like going to be cool arena cards. Like charging an 8/3 in is with that Divine Shield is kind of nice into other minions. So it will be cool in arena, but I can't see this seeing playing standard. Okay, Hench Clan Thug, 3 mana 3/3. After your hero attacks, give this minion +1/+1. Oh, this isn't too bad because any deck where you're playing like weapons, like you can play this in Rogue, you're probably going to dagger up on turn 2, you attack, and then this is just going to be a 3 mana 4/4. This is kind of nice in any weapon classes like Warrior and Paladin, Hunter. This is actually a fairly decent aggro card. It's after your hero attacks, so it could potentially get bigger and bigger. It's pretty cool. Rush is a crap version of Charge, where you can only attack a minion. It is fairly accurate. Yeah, that is fairly accurate. But yeah, this card actually seems pretty nice. Life Drinker, 4 mana 3/3 Beast. Battle Cry, deal 3 damage to the enemy hero. Restore 3 health to your hero. Ooh. Ooh, I quite like that card. What is amazing about this card is that this is a way that Hunter can actually heal. If you get this from the Zombie hero power, this is one of the only ways Hunter can heal. So you can get Bloodworm and have like Lifesteal, but there's never been actually any like direct healing. Healing in Hunter. Who would have known, man? Well, potentially healing in Hunter anyway. Lost Spirit, 2 mana 1/1. Death Rattle give your minions +1 attack. Huh. So you'd want to be playing in some kind of board floody deck. I don't like this card. I want to like this card. Because I want I want to like it for like token decks and stuff, but I just don't. Hunter Death Knight is going to be so fun. This expansion is going to be a lot of fun, yeah. If you give it Lifesteal, the Battle Cry will heal for 6. Yeah, that's true. That is true. Mad Hatter, 4 mana 3/2. Battle Cry, randomly toss 3 hats to other minions. Each hat gives +1/+1. Oh, wow. So, if you're the only one with minions on the board, it's essentially giving +3/+3 to your minions. So, it's essentially like you're getting 4 mana of 6/5 stats. And 3/3 of that is getting to attack. I actually think this could be good in a very aggressive, like in a deck where you're like completely dominating the board, and it can give hats to enemy minions as well. It can give. Can it hide itself? It can't hide itself because it says to other minions. It will be able to hat other enemy minions, but only if your opponent has enemy minions on the board. Like in a deck where you have complete board dominance the whole time, this actually might not be that bad. It might be a win more card. Yeah, it might be a little bit of a win more card. But one thing that's also nice about it is it's not like something like Defender of Argus where you have to have 2 minions to get the maximum value out of it. Like with this, you can have 1 minion and it can just give that minion +3/+3. Or you can have 3 minions and it can just split amongst them. Or like, you don't really know. I like this card. Marsh Drake. 3 mana 5/4, Battlecry, summon a 2/1 Poisonous Drake Slayer for your opponent. Okay. So a 3 mana 5/4 is very good. You need to have a nice way of dealing with a 2/1. So you could be playing Rogue and have the dagger. You could be playing Hunter and have like Candle Shot equipped. You just need to be playing a deck where you have lots of deal 1 damage effects, so you have lots of 1/1s on the board. Lots of ways of dealing with it. Great for Rogue. Yeah, I think this is good for Rogue. For sure. Maybe some playing Hunter. This card seems pretty good. Mossy Horror. 6 mana 2/7. Battlecry, destroy all other minions with less than 2 attack. Pretty cool that they've essentially created Shadow and Horror on legs. Depends on the meta if it will be played. Obviously, there's no pint-sized potion anymore because that's being rotated out. So, I'm not sure if this is actually see play, but there could be some things other than Priest you might want to play this in. You could also steal the 2/1 Poisonous guy. Oh, yeah, I see what you mean. This card does seem fairly good, to be fair. I just don't know where the hell what you'd put it in. Like, what would you actually put this in? I don't know. Works with the Warlock minus 2 back attack spell. Yeah, I don't think that's very good though, because like you'd rather just use Twisted Nether. Like instead of getting this 2-card combo that only kills things that have 4 or less attack, you'd much rather use Twisted Nether. Okay. Muck Hunter, 5 mana 5/8 Rush. Battle Cry, summon 2/1/2/1 Mucklings for your opponent. This is kind of another similar thing where, like, it's a great body, but you need to be able to deal with these 2/1s, otherwise it's just terrible. Like, if the 2/1s get trade into this, it's just a 5 and a 5/4 with Rush, which isn't very good. Yeah. It's pretty good, to be fair, but... Once again, what deck are you playing this in? You might want to be playing some kind of, like the Rush Warrior type thing. Rogue, yeah, could be good in Rogue. Could actually be good with something like Arcane Missiles. Like you do Muck Hunter on 6 and then play Arcane Missiles. Huh. Night Prowler. 4 3/3 Beast. Battlecry, if this is the only minion on the battlefield, gain +3/+3. There's been a few cards in Hearthstone that have been, if this is the only minion on the battlefield, do this. But it's very hard to make something the only minion on the battlefield. If it is, it's like 4 6/6 Beast is insane. But it's going to be pretty hard to make it the only thing on the board. Maybe if you're playing Hunter and you have like some early weapons, you get Eaglehorn Bow up. And then you can bow whatever minion they play. And then you can Night Prowler as a 6/6 dude. But, yeah. Most of the cards in Witchwood are good in fair decks, but currently fair decks don't work in Hearthstone. That is true. That is true. Okay, Gamers Last Resort. Thanks for the 100 bits, man. Nightmare Amalgam. I'm actually very surprised they printed this card. So it's a 3-mana 3/4 that is basically every archetype. Elemental, Mech, Demon, Murloc, Dragon, Beast, Pirate, and Totem. So if ever you're playing a deck and you're thinking, oh, I wish I had an extra Mech or an extra Dragon or whatever... It's not like a 3-mana 3/4 isn't that great, but the fact that it's synergizing with whatever type it needs to is actually pretty good for certain situations. Like if you need originally I was thinking, oh, we might need some more dragons for Priest, or we could play Nightmare Amalgam as an extra dragon. Kind of strange that they printed that card, I feel. I mean, it's not great. A 3-mana 3/4 isn't insane, so it's nothing to be like super worried about or anything. This card is Dust, so we're gonna skip that one. Pumpkin Pleasant, 3-mana 2/4 lifesteal. Each turn this is in your hand, swap its attack and health. The fact it has lifesteal makes it a little bit better than it looks, but once again, I believe this card is just Dust. Ravencaller, 3-mana 2/1 Battlecry. Add 2 random 1-cost minions to your hand. I would definitely consider playing this in Quest Hunter. In Quest Hunter, you just want to get as many 1-drops out as fast as you can, and yeah, complete the quest as quick as you can. Also, we have the new, I think it's called Toxmonger, the new 4-mana Hunter card that it means when you, its effect is when you play a 1-mana minion, give it poisonous. So yeah, I'm looking forward to playing Quest Hunter, and I'm definitely going to try this out in Quest Hunter at least, for sure. Robson Applebaum. 5-mana 4/5, Taunt, Death Rattle, restore 4 health to your hero. This is the type of minion I might play in some kind of Death Rattle deck. Like earlier we were talking about some kind of Death Rattle Priest, where you're playing like Obsidian Statue, and you really want to pull other things as well. This might be good enough to kind of pull as another minion from the Coffin Catcher. God, I can't remember its name. I think it's Coffin Catcher. I think it's called Coffin Catcher. Okay. Sandbinder. 4-mana 2/4. Battlecry, draw an elemental from your deck. Okay, so it's kind of like the other 4-mana 2/4 that draws a card for you, but this one is guaranteed an elemental. I'm not sure about this. I don't think this is that good, right? It doesn't seem very good to me. Unless there's one specific elemental you really want that's going to like win you the game, but... Great as a tutor, not for elemental decks per se. Yeah. Oh, it's for combo decks? Yeah. I see. Elemental Mage may be a thing. Will be a thing, you heard it here first. I think Elemental Mage could be a thing. I'm not sure if I'd play Sandbinder in it, though. OTK Mage can draw the 4/5 reduced cost by 2. Oh, yeah, I see. Okay. Scale Worm. 4 4/4 Beast. Battlecry if you're holding a dragon. Gain +1 attack and rush. A 5/4 rush is kind of nice, but you have to be playing a dragon. And what kind of dragons are you going to be playing in? There's a lot of decks where you're not going to be wanting a dragon. Like, there's a couple of decks where we'll be like, oh, this card's pretty good. Like the 3 mana 5/4 dragon that summons a 2/1 for your opponent. But are you really going to be playing any other dragons in the deck? If not, it's probably not worth playing this card. So like, you're going to have to be playing a fair few dragons for this to actually be worth playing. You know what I mean? Dragons are over. I don't think dragons are over in Priest. Maybe you want to play this in Priest. Well, this card's good. I just don't think there's enough dragons right now for it to be worth playing outside of maybe Priest. Oh. Does something bad. What did I do? Spell Shifter. 2 mana 1/4. Spell damage +1. Each turn is in your hand. Sub attack and health. I would say that a 2 mana 1/4 is probably better than a 2 mana 2/2 in the meta right now. So Spell Shifter might be better than the 2/2 Cobra Geomancer. But you never want to play it as a 4/1, really. And so you're always only going to be playing it on the turn when it's... Gamer's Last Resort. 1,000 bits is very generous. Thank you very much, man. That is, that's really generous. Love you. Zoo Mage and Control Shaman with Quest and only a few Murlocs would be a thing. I think Control Shaman can be a thing. What do you mean by Quest and only a few Murlocs, though? Like, I don't see any reason you'd want to play Quest or a few Murlocs in Shaman. Like, why not just make just a normal Control Shaman? Zoo Mage, I think some kind of minion mage could be a thing. If it was going to be a thing, I think it would be elementals. Like some kind of elemental mage could definitely be a thing. Like a minion based mage. Yeah, I'm not sure about Quest and Murlocs in Control Shaman. I think Control Shaman can be good, but I think it might be better to go... If you want to make a Control Shaman, it might be better to go like the elemental route, I think. In fact, this could actually be the best expansion for elementals. Splitting Festa Root. 8 mana 4/4 epic. Death Rattle summon 2/2 splitting saplings. And those 2/2 saplings then each summon 2 1/1 dudes. So this has a lot of value in it, but it's very slow. It is very slow. Are you going to be playing this in a Priest where you like want to pull it from your hand? Possibly not. Yeah, I mean... Maybe you do. Maybe you do want to pull it from the Coffin Catcher because it is just a big death rattle. Like, you'd rather pull this than Cairn, right? I think you'd rather pull this than Cairn. It is very slow though. Maybe a one-off. Maybe a one-off. Isn't Worm way better? Oh yeah, Violet Worm is probably just better, right? Yeah, I think Violet Worm might just be better. Yeah, I think you're right. Do you think there'll be anything to fight up against Warlock? Yeah, I think there'll be a couple of decks that definitely at least stand a chance against Warlock for sure. Swamp Dragon Egg. Yes, we got a new egg. A 1 mana 0/3 common and neutral card. Death Rattle, add a random dragon to your hand. So, it isn't the most powerful egg in the world. It's obviously pretty slow. It is a 0/3, so you could potentially play this in a deck where you are playing... The Priest Legendary, or what's she called? Like if you're playing like a Dragon Priest deck, you can play the Priest Legendary. I can't remember what it's called. Light. Oh god, I can't remember her name. Anyway, Priest Legend. Outside of that, the White Lady. Yeah, this could be interesting in like a White Lady Dragon Priest. Outside of that, I can't see you playing this card. Unfortunately. Yeah. Swamp Bleach, 1/2, 2/1 Lifesteal Beast. I mean, this is kind of like a bit of a filler card. Might be good with the Zombeast hero power from the Hunter Death Knight. Other than that, probably just not great. Swift Messenger, 4/2, 2/6 common. Rush, each turn is in your hand, swaps his attack and health. Just a filler card, really. Yep, not going to be playing that. Well, I mean, to be fair, like, having a 6 mana... Like, whenever you're having a rush minion like this, you want to have the attack high and the health low. So, it can be 4 mana, deal 6 damage. But, I'm not sold. Tangled Fur Mystic. 3 mana, 3/4. Battlecry, add a random 2-cost minion to each player's hand. Okay, this seems like another arena card. I don't know what you're going to be... I don't know why you're going to be playing this in any deck, really. Yeah, I don't know why you're going to be playing this card. Is it even good in arena? I mean, not really. Hand Druid? Oh, Hand Druid. Are you really going to play this in Hand Druid? Nah. Nope. Unpowered Steambot. 4/0/9 Taunt Mech. Interesting. But useless. You can try and like have dreams about playing this with the right white lady, but I don't think that's really going to happen very much. So don't try that out, by the way. Don't try and put that in a deck with a white lady. Vicious Scale Hide. A 2 mana 1/3 Lifesteal Rush Beast. Okay, this is pretty interesting. Oh wow. This could actually be one of the most exciting minions for the Rexxar Death Knight, for the Zombeasts. Like I was saying earlier, Hunter struggles with healing in the late game, so this could actually be pretty good. It has, you can synergize it with other Hunter cards as well. I think this one's actually nice. Oh wow, didn't you see the Hearthstone stream? I didn't see the Hearthstone stream. No, what happened on the Hearthstone stream? I only got to see some of it. What happened? Are beasts actually being added to the Rexxar pool this time? I think so. He played the Dire thing +3/+3 on it. Ah, I see. Okay. And then just healed tons. Oh, that's pretty sick. I like this card. Voodoo Doll. I like this card as well. 3 mana 1/1. Battlecry. Choose a minion. Death Rattle. Destroy the chosen minion. So, any way of killing this off yourself, and you can destroy enemy minion, basically. You can backstab it. You can arcane shot it. You can do various different things. You can literally just play it on the board and leave it as a 1/1. Mortal Coil, yeah, that's a good shout. Dark Pact. Ooh. Thing is, I feel like if you are going to play this, you're going to want to play this in a class that doesn't have that much removal, because like you would rather just play Polymorph than this card. You would also rather just play Hex than this card. So I can't see why you're going to be playing this in like Shaman, or even though Mage you can ping this off yourself, which is pretty nice. But when you have Polymorph already, and you already have like Meteor as well. Voodoo Doll and J-Knight equals 5 mana removal and War Elemental. Oh yeah, it's good with the Death Knight as well. Okay, maybe a Minion Mage. Like a Minion Mage might be some way you could see this. This plus new spell that buffs and add copies. Oh, you were talking about the Hunter one, yeah, okay. Like, what classes struggle with hard removal? I mean, Hunter has, like, Deadly Shot and Hunter's Mark, which is okay, but it's not that great. Rogue has Sap and Val Spineslayer, so... Like, my problem with this is I don't know where I would fit this in. Like, Warrior has Shield Slam, Execute... Maybe some kind of odd deck. Maybe some kind of odd deck. Yeah. Yeah. Really cool, interestingly designed card, though. I like that a lot. Walnut Sprite, 3-mana 3/3 Echo. Once again, just another... Oh, he's pulling, like, the gayest pairs. Yeah, I mean, this just feels like another filler, to be honest. Like another filler card. Witch's Cauldron. 3-mana 0/4 epic. After a friendly minion dies, add a random Shaman spell to your hand. Jesus, okay. What's the coolest, most interesting deck after the Witchwood, and why is it Shudderwock Shaman? Shudderwock Shaman, lol. Super review, PogChamp. Oh, news now hosting me for 1,600 viewers. Thank you very much, Radu. Hope you had a good stream, my man. Love you as ever. I'm just basically finishing doing my, just reviewing all the cards. I've done all of the classes, and I'm just finishing the neutral cards. And then after we finish reviewing the neutral cards, I'm going to be doing some theory crafting. And thinking of some decks that I want to be playing kind of as soon as the expansion hits. And yeah, just some exciting things I want to try out. And kind of just a first look of decks I want to play when the expansion hits. After a friendly minion dies, add a random Shaman spell to your hand. 3-mana 0/4. This is actually a really interesting card. Like, if you're playing a deck, like, obviously you're only really going to want to be playing it in a token deck, because you want to play it, you want to be able to have lots of minions on the board, and then trade off all your minions, so that you can create some spells. Hunter could actually be a good shout, yeah, with, like, Unleash the Hounds and tokeny minions. Druid, potentially could be playing some early game tokeny Druid, and then add lots of cards to your hand, and then suddenly you're like some kind of hand Druid. But then you're going to end up getting random Shaman spells is the thing, which is sometimes going to be good. Shaman has a lot of great spells, but then there's some spells that aren't great, like things that have like synergize with totems that are just going to be unusable. So I feel like in a lot of situations, you're just going to end up with a lot of cards that you don't really want or need. Meat Wagon. It's a bit of a meme. You'll have to make a deck with a bit of a theme. Moving on. Witchwood Grizzly. Okay, 5-mana 3/12 Taunt Beast. Lose 1 health for each card in your opponent's hand. So, this is one of the best anti-aggro cards of the expansion for sure. Like, if you're generally a lot of aggro decks are obviously playing lots of minions early on, trying to put pressure on you, emptying their hand. And if they don't have many cards in their hand, this is actually insane. Even if they have, like, say, 3 or 4, this is going to be like a 3/8, 3/9 taunt, which is going to be a lot for an aggro deck to get through on turn 5. Oakheart. Yeah, this is sick from Oakheart as well. Oh, God, I didn't even think about that. This is great from Oakheart. But, it's very good. What deck are you going to be playing this in? I mean, obviously, if you're playing against the deck that does draw a lot of cards, this is not going to be so good. So, it's really dependent on, like, who you're against, really. Like, I feel like whether this card sees play or not is going to be dependent on what the meta's like, which, you know, we're not going to know straight away, but it'll settle down, and then we'll kind of work it out. Shady Money is now hosting me for 670 viewers. Thank you very much, Shady. Hope you had a very, very good stream, my man. Might be good in odd or minion mage. If they silence it, gets to 12 health again. Yeah. I have a prediction for you. Your first deck on Thursday will be like a random dig Summoner Shaman, and you'll insta-queue into Unchanged Q block. Maybe. I mean, on the first of the expansion, you'd like to hope that a lot of people are like trying things out and playing different decks and trying to use all the new cards. But some people can't really afford to spend money on the new cards. And some people just want to kind of punish everyone who's trying things out and just play the best decks. But then you've got to, you got to work out something with the new cards to beat the Q block. You know what I mean? I'm going to be trying some things out to try and beat what everyone else is doing. Okay. Next card. Witchwood Piper. 4-mana 3/3 rare minion. Battlecry. Draw the lowest cost minion from your deck. Formula 3/3 draw card is okay. It's not particularly amazing, but it's not terrible. The interesting thing is it's drawing the lowest cost minion from your deck, so you always know what you're going to be drawing with this card. I mean, unless you have like multiple cards that cost the same amount of mana. Maladir just subscribed. Thank you very much, Maladir. Welcome to the Jackoffs. But what you can do with this is that, say you're playing 2 Witchwood Pipers, and then you're playing something big, and you're just having like one big minion you want to draw. You can you play your Witchwood Piper, it draws your other Witchwood Piper, unless you already have the other one in your hand, and then you've got the 2 Witchwood Pipers out of your deck, and you only have big minions left, so you know that you're going to draw your big minions with the Witchwood Piper. Imagine the last beast with Lady and White. Oh, the 312? Yeah. Yeah, I know, right? Crazy. But, yeah, this card seems decent. I don't know exactly what deck you're going to put this in. Like, I actually don't know what kind of deck you're going to put this in. Definitely try some things out. Like, are you going to want to maybe play some kind of combo decks and you're using it to find a certain combo piece? Potentially. Maybe. You think Big Priest will still be a thing? Big Priest is going to be interesting because obviously we don't have Barns anymore. So you're not going to be able to do crazy Barn things. But you still have Shadow Essence. And Shadow Essence is still a good card. And we still have lots of other tools that are still good. Another thing we're losing though is Dragonfire Potion. So it's hard to see it being... It's definitely hard to see it being as good as it was. But there's probably some potential for it somewhere. Okay, next card we have Worgen Abomination. A 7-mana 6/6 epic minion. At the end of your turn, deal 2 damage to all other damaged minions. Well, I actually quite like this card. It can essentially give AoE to classes that don't normally have much AoE. It can be, obviously in Warrior, for example. Warrior already has loads of AoE, but this could be interesting in Warrior, where you have lots of whirlwind effects, and then you play this, and you do a load of damage to everything, and it doesn't damage itself, so your opponent's going to have to kill this, otherwise it's just going to do AoE over and over again. But it's only to damaged minions, which is kind of interesting, because it means if you're playing against something like Dude Paladin, where they just play a load of 1/1s on the board, this doesn't actually damage any of them, because the 1/1s can't be damaged, they just die. So I imagine we'll see this somewhere. I don't know exactly where yet. Just play Baron Geddon. Yeah, you could just play Baron Geddon, I guess. But then you can, like, trade all your little 1/1s into their minions and then use this to finish off their minions. I don't know. Okay. Last card we have. Last card of the whole expansion. Wormguard. 7-mana 3/11. Battlecry. If you're holding a dragon, gain +1 attack and taunt. So, assuming you're playing a dragon deck, it's going to be a 7-mana 4/11 taunt. You could be playing, if you're playing dragons, you might happen to be playing priest. You could potentially play Lady in White and have a 7-mana 11/11 taunt. Well, 12/11 taunt, potentially. But I don't know, man. It's just a big boy. It's just a big boy. Half of these cards are only made for Lady in White. I mean, it's not really. I mean, you're not gonna make a deck around Lady in White, in my opinion. In my opinion, the best way to play Lady of White is just to have a good priest deck, and then if you happen to have lots of minions that have more health than attack, which a lot of the time you will in priest, then slot Lady of White in the deck. I think there's one card you missed. Is there? What card did I miss? I'm pretty sure I did them all. What card do you think I missed? Okay. Well, we've now discussed all the cards, so now I can get onto some theory crafting, PogChamp, and start thinking about what decks I'm going to play on the first day of the expansion.